Welcome back, everyone. Apologies for that brief intermission there. We are slightly rattled, but we have figured it out and we're back on course, ready for another episode of Aerilon Sins of the Peacekeeper. So, is everyone else ready? Everyone else? Probably only me that's panicking right now. You guys are just sitting pretty ready to play some D&D.
We are all good, brother.
Yeah, we're good.
I hope you guys at home are also sitting comfortably, more comfortably than I am, but we're past the worst of it. So, settle down and settle in for tonight's episode of Tales on Tap. Last time on Aerilon Sins of the Peacekeeper, we met an eclectic group of individuals, all demoted or transferred or perhaps punished with the task of joining a new clandestine division in the city of Valvaris, the great sprawling metropolis. These individuals came together under questionable and confusing auspices and came together to be set a task by a strange individual who introduced themselves only as the Regent. This kind of soggy looking, downtrodden, middle-aged human man who seemed to have no business commanding or very much having any kind of authority at all. However, authority he had, and they followed his words, entering into a tavern called O'Gromley's. Therein, they were tasked with getting in amongst the crowd of the tavern and surreptitiously waiting for the signal that had been agreed. Lemons. When the signal was raised, all hell broke loose. This new team of Arthurius, Artemis, Marcus, Lumiel, and Jax sprung into action, fighting with the various mobsters and gang members in the tavern, as this strange regent character enacted a plan of their own. Seems like he was there to recover part of an ancient artifact that could control time. And once he had it in his hands, time did indeed stop, much to the surprise of our new party. As they made their way out, still fists and axes flying, they stepped out onto the street to see the birds still in the air, bells half crooked in towers, time standing still as far as the eye could see, until the regent removed this artifact from his head. Time began again. They began to make their escape, and O'Malley's exploded. They were then taken via the Silver Canal, the large mass transit system in the city of Valvaris, to East Arches, to the old Goodberry Road, to a salon which would serve as the front to their new headquarters. Not salon, sorry, saloon. It's not a salon, that would be cool though.
That would be ace, yeah.
Banking that. Any of you guys remember what the name of the saloon was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on.
Last chance.
It's the Last Chance Saloon, indeed. Therein they met a few other members of their new team, the tactical coordinator Fortress, the dogs, as they were called, the kind of lackeys by the names of Cran and Lizaleth. They also met Quill, the archivist, and Bandolier, the quartermaster, while Regent handled some business in his back office. They were invited to explore the house, this strange, almost liminal building where things seem to be larger and more arcane and strange than they first seem on the outside. They began perusing what was available. Artemis went to speak to Bandolier, the quartermaster, about acquiring some armor, while Jax and Lumiel headed to speak with Quill about some of his works, although he ended up doing most of the talking. Arturius headed to another location within East Arches, where he met with a fond friend, or perhaps more, a mysterious woman to whom he does not seem to be married, but very much involved with. And finally, Marcus headed up to the 4th floor of the house to carry out a bit of training, loosen himself up in the training room. We start this week's session with Marcus. Marcus, you step up onto the 4th floor and you step out into what is almost just a very large gymnasium. There are bars up the walls. There are soft mats in certain areas. There are weights. There are training dummies. There are punching bags and these kind of things. What is it that you'd like to do while you're up here?
I think Marcus would go to what he's most familiar towards, which would be, he would probably glance at the weights first, but then decide on the punching bags. So he would go
wailing away.
Yeah, start wailing away. He would take off his the upper part of his armor, so he's only in the lower part, but with chest exposed and everything, basically looking like, one of those what's it called, one of those anime fighters that have like the biggest fucking pants ever and then no shirt. Very muscles, very
Street Fighter kind of.
Yeah, very old school Tekken.
Yeah, okay. So you begin to start getting out some of your, stress and settling in, loosening up a little bit, punching this heavy bag. As your punches become firmer and firmer, the dust is flying off this bag with each strike. You begin to feel through your veins in your arms and your chest and your shoulders the coursing of the materials that you've been using to enhance your strength. The veins along your forearms begin to darken, and you can feel the pressure rising up through your neck as these punches, poof, poof, one after the other, become louder and harder until eventually you feel something of a draining sensation. Can you describe to us what kind of happens to you in this moment?
Yeah, so as with each punch, it's almost like you said, each punch gets harder and harder, and it starts making more and more of a swing towards the sandbags themselves. And at first it just looks like the veins are about to pop. They are literally crawling up, these big black veins up his forearms, and it starts spreading towards his chest and towards his heart, where it seems to be everything seemed to be coming from, and as well as up towards his neck. His eyes are more or less like bloodshot, like watching a feral hound, and it just the strength and the speed of the punches just increase and increase until eventually the veins slowly start to recede and sort of fade away. The sort of inky blackness starts becoming the normal color of his skin again, and they stop bulging as much as
Marcus,
he slows down.
You begin to feel your vision, you begin to see as your vision almost grays slightly and becomes almost blurred, as if this hit of adrenaline, this hit of strength and power surging within you makes way to a pit within you. You feel lethargic, you feel kind of tetchy and twitchy a little bit, and this feeling washes over you.
I think at that point, Marcus would probably just start feeling like he's losing the grip of his legs, like the strength in his legs are starting to go. So he knowing that he's most likely cleared the majority of it through out of his system, he will just sit down next to his armor, lean against the wall, and just breathe. He'll take a handkerchief or almost like a towel from his pack, and just start wiping off the sweat.
Okay. As you begin to go through and get the towel out of your pack, you pull it out and you hear a jingle. And as you sort of almost instinctively look in the pack, you notice that of the 3 vials you had, only one of them is about 2/3 of the way full. The other 2 are empty. You're looking like you've probably only got about a day's supply left.
Fuck. Okay. Right. Guess it's time to call him again.
You sit in this moment kind of panicking and worrying and feeling very nervous about this lack and this coming to an end of your supply and what that might mean for you if you were to run out. Arturius.
Yo.
You, having spent your, shall we say, lunch break
Yep.
at this address in East Arches, are you sure you don't want any more?
Look, that was marvelous, but I might take some for later. Like I said, I don't know when I'll be back. It might be late tonight. I don't know what kind of shift this is going to be.
Arthur, it's fine. I understand. I wasn't expecting you to come around so early today, to be honest.
No, I know. Are you okay? So you had an appointment yesterday, right? Or was that the day before yesterday?
No, it was yesterday. You're right.
And is everything okay?
Everything's just fine.
Okay.
Don't worry about us. Is everything okay with you? You seem a little more flustered than usual.
Yeah. Everything's fine. I'm okay.
I can see right straight through you, Arturius Montague.
I'm fine. Honestly, you don't need to worry about me. Just you make sure you're looking after yourself. Don't do anything strenuous. I'll do all the heavy lifting when I get back. But look, doesn't mean to stop doing everything. Right? Like, you're a strong, independent, powerful woman. I'm
still the same woman you met.
Oh, gods. Good.
Don't worry about me. I can handle myself, as you know.
I do know, yeah. Look, I might be out for a while. Do you need anything picking up? What about some of those, like, little fancy, like, cake things that you like?
Ooh. Yes, I know exactly. Are you going past the Grand Market, do you think?
Maybe, but I can make a trip.
You're too good to us. Go on, well, I am eating for 2 now, so you might as well pick me up a little something extra, eh?
I will. Look, I hate to just, like, dip and, like, eat and run, but I've kind of got a load I need to get on with.
Okay. I understand.
I love you.
I love you too, honey.
Alright.
Look after yourself as well.
I'm doing my best. And he kind of, like, great sword on waist and...
As you turn and sort of as the door opens, you feel a hand clasp yours. As she turns you around and you feel her hands place upon your cheeks, and she pulls you in and gives you a long, deep kiss.
I kind of smile, like a half smile kind of cracks across Artorias' face. And he just kind of like puts his head on hers and then just kind of goes, I'll see you later. Lock the
You went out
door.
there good tonight.
I'll either be good or I'll be bad at it.
Well, you know I like it both ways, so.
Well, that's how we got in this mess in the first place. As he kind of walks down the street.
You walk down sort of with a little bit of a chip in your step.
Yeah.
You know, but then that sort of soon subsides to the serious matter at hand, and you recenter yourself. Are you heading back to the house?
Yes, I'm gonna go back to the tavern, back to the last chance. Head back there.
You walk in, the same two individuals as I described last time are sitting there. The large, half tiefling, half minotaur barman, who is still there just polishing the same glass. That clearly hasn't served a drink since you left. Yeah. And the same sort of very round, bulbed-headed man just staring at the door as you come in. His eyes do follow you a little bit and squint slightly with a curious look as you walk through, but then his eyes pass. You head up the stairs to the door of the house and you see... Back again, I see, sir.
I am, yeah. Could I enter?
Absolutely. Your wish is my command. Welcome to the house. This large stone door creaks back about 2 feet and you kind of sidestep through it. The rest of you will go with Artemis first. Artemis, you're sort of locked in this duel of minds with Bandolier. Well, I mean, I've got some stuff that might be able to be quite good at that. Like, I don't know, I've got some things that can help you resist poison and things. If you're just looking for a bit more basic protection.
Yeah, I just need to be a little bit tougher when I'm out in the world, you know, because I'm not really strong physically. So it'd be helpful. Whatever you got.
Right, all right. Backpack. You see from behind one of these large sort of cisterns that's kind of bubbling away slightly behind him, a small winged kobold wearing like a little pinstripe shirt and little shorts clops on top of it, and he says, "Yeah, boss." He says, could you try and find that what was it again? What was it? It was like a chain shirt thing, very light. He goes, "Yeah, boss, I can do that. No worries. I think I know where it is. Give me 2 seconds." Like, whoa, what the hell was that? War of the World.
I imagine that was just backpack.
Yeah, that was
just flying off.
Will you be careful back there, please? For fuck's sake.
I honestly thought that was you. I honestly thought that was you with the soundboard.
Oh no, I'm not talented enough for that kind of timing. There's a moment where he's just kind of sitting there and he just trails off and just sort of starts looking around the room and then goes back to painting the vase that you saw him painting before.
Like, looking around his sort of workshop, I guess, or whatever this room is, does it look like what kind of feeling am I getting from this kind of guy? Is he like just sat in the middle of like mess, or is there sort of like
it's
order to the chaos? Or
let's have you sort of make an investigation check while you're sort of sitting here inspecting everything.
Yes, investigation.
See if you can pick out any order amongst, because it's definitely at a first glance it's for sure a chaotic scene.
It's only a 9.
A 9, yeah. I mean, there are sort of things hanging lower than head height. So, like, it seems like to get to where he is sitting behind this counter, he very much had to maneuver his way around a lot of things and duck under some things. There are pipes overhead that are sort of steaming, but you do kind of notice that things are kind of in piles.
Yeah.
And the desktop, the various tools on the various workstations and things like that seem to be appropriate to that station and stuff like that. So kind of an organized chaos kind of vibe here.
As he's sort of wandering and looking around, he's like hands in pockets, kind of this like arch to himself as he'll sort of sidle up to the desk and just, "So how long have you been here?" How'd you get involved?
Oh, I've been here a while, yeah. I've been here like, what day is it today?
Friday. I don't know what days go by in this world, so we'll just say
About
Friday.
5 years, yeah. About 5 years. There's a small metallic sort of brass box that starts going next to you, and a light on it starts spinning.
Oh.
He's like, "Oh, don't touch that! Don't touch that! Don't touch that!" He sort of gets up
Yeah.
and he pulls a crank on it and twists a dial and pulls down the door and takes out of it a nicely perfectly cooked cheese toasty. Oh, it's still not right.
That's an excessively loud machine for what came out of it. Okay.
You haven't tried one yet. Would you like one? Only takes a couple of hours.
No, I can't eat cheese. I'm afraid it doesn't agree with my system.
Can't eat cheese.
No, it's quite common. Like cheese, milk, anything from cows or goats or animals that have boobs.
I live on the stuff, to be honest, or at least I did when I was a calf. And you sort of see as he turns around, and he's got this very sort of mop of very sort of metal hair going on. But as he turns, you do see a droopy, floppy ear kind of flick round, and you sort of start to notice the sort of flatness of his nose. And you discern at this point that he is actually a furbolg.
Oh, okay.
He sits back down. He said, "So did you want something?" And at this point, backpack kind of creeps out. He goes, "Yeah, was this it, boss? Was this what you were looking for?" He goes, "Oh, right, yeah, armor. Sure, yeah. Chuck it here." He throws it down to him, and it kind of lands on his arm and shoulder. He just picks it up and he says, whips it out, and it's kind of like a very shiny light chain shirt. He says, "Yeah, I think should fit you. You're quite live."
Yeah, I've been told. And as he sort of goes to reach it and then bring his hands back, and sort of just telekinetically something will pick up from the shoulder and just sort of pull it from his hands, and it will just hover in front of him as he sort of inspects it himself. And I think, that doesn't look too bad. I think that should work.
Shouldn't get in the way too much as well if you like to remain mobile and...
Oh, I'm a peerless athlete, me. I'm always everywhere. I just, I have to be safe when I'm running my laps.
Sure.
Yeah.
I believe you. I don't like doing any of that kind of thing. I'm much happier down here. Up here.
Where are we? What?
Oh, I'm sorry, did you say something?
I know, I thought you did.
Jax and Lumiel. You guys are in with Krull. He's been, much to your attempts at keeping him on task and on track of things, he has been rabbiting on for a good 15 minutes. It's becoming slightly draining, even if it is somewhat entertaining. It's like, okay, take a breath kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, like, what I'm hoping to do really is I want to collect as much information as we can. We don't have a way of directly linking to other databases and things like that, but if we can somehow get some... Yeah?
You'll see something cool.
Yeah, of course.
Thank God.
Never ask me that question. Just go.
And I get the flintlock pistol out of the harness. I empty the pan so there's no blood powder or anything in there, and I go,
"No way! Is that a real firearm?"
"Be careful."
"Are you sure? Are you sure?"
"Yes, be careful. It's not loaded. You shouldn't."
I'll be so careful. I'll be so careful.
"Hurt yourself."
He reaches out and he takes this, which is like quite big in his hands.
Yeah.
"No way! I've never thought I'd get to hold. How do you still have this?"
They didn't take it off me, so...
"Oh, your secret's safe with me. I mean, I'm not going to tell anybody."
"However, it's going to make me quite easy to trace."
"Right. Yeah, no, that's right. They probably do keep serial numbers and that kind of thing."
Exactly. Is
What do
there
you need
any
to do?
way we can... It might be working with Bandolier to, scrub any...
Oh, I would
trace
not
it?
want to make any modifications to this thing if that were what you're talking about. That's way outside my level, but I can certainly keep my ear to the ground and see if I can come...
Keep track of if anyone says anything. If we can squash that information where it starts, that'd be great.
Sure, yeah. I mean, we've already taken some steps to make sure that your guys' trail is a little harder to follow, so hopefully that. But I'll double check my workings and make sure that any traces to this fine piece of mechanics is oh man, this thing is so cool. I mean,
There is another one.
oh, really? They gave
Yeah.
you two? No way.
Well, yeah, I may or may not have been, the youngest ever and highest qualified person to be awarded a firearms license, but it's no big deal.
I know that. Yeah, I mean, I looked you guys up. You guys are all you've all got some pretty cool accolades to your name, but holy crap, youngest war diver, youngest person to own to operate a firearm.
How old are you, Quill?
Me? I'm
Yeah.
23.
Okay, you're fine. That's about the same age I was.
Sure. Do you want this
GM.
back or can I?
No, I want it back.
Okay.
Do I know of any? Does Lumiel know of any way of scrubbing signatures off weapons from my past?
I would say most likely yes. Give me
Who's
a
taken two at least?
Yeah, I would say so. Give me a history check.
Okay.
So how in these circles you were moving?
16 plus. What was it? History?
History, yeah, we'll go history.
That's a 19.
19, yeah. So you mostly in your past, when you have resorted to more nefarious means of income, have dealt with a limited number of people in that regard, most of whom are more middlemen kind of people. But you do have a contact which you think would be more interested in weapons, and most of the time when there's things like that, they would most likely want to scrub things like that off. So you don't know anyone specifically by name, but through your contacts you could probably work something out. Mostly people in the Neath Lock.
Yeah, just repeat that when she gets back.
I will do.
Yeah, cool.
We'll move on for now. Yeah, but if you want any alterations done, if there are any recorded serial numbers or arcane marks on the piece itself, then Bandler's your guy.
All right. I will. Where is he? Across the
Just
road?
over the hall. Yeah.
All right, cool. Road? That's not a road.
I mean,
All
it's hard to tell in this place. Things change.
Everything seems to. Yeah. So the house is sentient?
I don't know. Well, I mean, I'm the wrong person to ask that, to be
Pending.
honest.
Okay. Who do I ask?
I don't know if you should.
Yeah. On the 6th floor. Do I know about that? I can't remember. Because I've
You were
got
there.
all the floors written down. Yeah, that's fine then. It
Who
wasn't
told
out
you?
of character.
Who told you about the 6th floor?
Well, I didn't. So there's something to know about the 6th floor.
There's nothing to know about the 6th floor.
That implies there's everything. Nice talking to you, Quill.
Nice talking to you. I'm looking forward to it. I'm here to talk anytime you want. If you got any information that might be useful for my archives and my database, then just please bring it back to me. If you pick up any, like documents or anything while you're out and about in the field, I can always cross-reference those and bring you any information that becomes interesting. Saves you, trawling through loads of documents if you find them. I love doing stuff like that. I do it most weekends, to be honest. Like most of my friends, I
begin to leave.
Cool. Thank you. You meet with Artemis in the hall as you hear the stone door of the house creak from down below. You guys meet in the hallway. Artemis,
Right.
you coming out of Bandelier's office. Jackson, Lumiel
I
coming out.
assume, as Artemis steps out, there's this big waft coming from Bandelier's room.
And it's sulphurous, but it's also quite herbaceous.
Right, okay. I think Jack just kind of goes, you okay in there? Sensory wise.
Oh, it's absolute. It's one of the hells, but it's fine. He's important apparently, and I need to talk to this guy to get things. So I did. Is the really chatty kid? Any
Still
interests?
chatting.
Okay.
Feel a bit
People don't-
rude. He's clearly very excited, but I only have so much energy.
Oh, I get
And
that.
it'd take a lot to, fend that off for too long. I ended up showing him my gun.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course you have those.
Yeah, I have guns. A gun. I have guns. I don't know why I'm lying.
Trust this place.
Artemis, have you in case it wasn't clear, you have been given a elven chain shirt?
Yes, it would still be sort of floating behind him, just sort of it's seemingly held by like the shoulder. He hasn't donned it yet, but as he's walking out, he will have it with him, and it'll just be sort of in the background.
How, given Jax's kind of experience with military type gear, obviously very different branch of, a military than this. Does it look like really good quality? Like, where is it on like a quality scale?
I'm trying to think what.
Are you gonna sell it? It's like, how can I make a quick buck?
You mean just like a perception check for now? Unless you're wanting to like take it off him and start,
Oh no, it's only a 10.
10. It looks very high quality. Certainly doesn't look not what you would be used to or consider as militaristic.
Yeah.
It's quite ornate.
Okay. You got that?
Yeah, they just give stuff out here. I think they like to make sure that we're, ready for the field missions or whatever. So if you talk to, he's a little dead behind the eyes, but I'm pretty sure if you get him properly in conversation, you can, forward him to what you need.
All right. Well, I should probably get some armor myself if we're doing that.
Yeah.
I think that someone's just come in. I don't know if how long's it been? I don't have a watch.
It's been probably since you all left. Obviously, Artorius left before you guys even ventured upstairs. You spent a little bit of time downstairs before you ventured up. That's coming from outside in East Arches. East Arches is quite a rough neighborhood, so it's been probably, I'd say, about 45 minutes since Artorius left.
Right.
So probably you've been in Quill's room for about 20 minutes.
Oh, definitely trained.
To be back, was it?
Sorry?
2 hours, yeah.
About 2 hours before we need to be back.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And it's just us three in the corridor right now, sorry.
So currently, it's Lumiel.
Lumiel's out here too. Cool.
Yeah. Lumiel, by the way, I'll come back to you. I'll send it to you on a message.
I apologize about that. My connection just went dead.
It's fine. You guys have finished your chatting with Quill, and you're now you've met in the hallway of the third floor.
Assuming that creak of the door was Artorius returning, I will be heading up to the third floor.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you sort of walk past the main sort of briefing room, and you see Fortress is in there, just sort of pinning stuff to a board and things like that. But you head up to the third floor, and you see these guys congregated in the hallway.
I sense that these guys are congregated in the hallway.
You sense that these guys. Well, I'm going to say C.
I know.
Because from what we discussed, you have a version of vision that's not.
Just walk around like a dolphin going. Just getting reverberations back. But as I kind of walk towards you guys, I don't say anything at first. There's almost an uncomfortable pause as we're all just stood in silence before I go, where do I get stuff?
Oh, I'm going in there too. Here.
Did you point?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll just kind of go.
I knock on the door. I make a sound on the door.
Okay, so and I just kind of go, okay.
No, sorry.
Yeah, it's
slipped my mind.
It's fine. I saw the hand move.
So which room are you going in? Were you going in Bandoleers?
3 of us are going Bandoleers. Yeah.
Okay. You walk in, and you see Bandolier is standing up, facing away from the door as you come in, and he's passing up his trousers to this small little winged kobold. He's now wearing no trousers. He has like baggy boxers on, so nothing's revealed. But he's taken his trousers off, and he's passing them up to this little winged kobold in a little pinstripe short sleeve shirt and shorts, who then flies off and hooks it onto a little washing line that's strung up towards the back of the room. Oh, hello. Sorry about that. What? And he sits back down behind his desk where you can't see his bottom half. Something I can do for all of you, or?
I think we go to you for stuff we need.
Yes, that's right. I'm the quartermaster. So anything you need, whether it be, armor, weapons, magical items, ammunition, or anything slightly more creative. I'm always interested in a challenge.
Cool. Who wants to go first?
Oh,
Yeah,
Jack
come on.
at the moment is slightly distracted. He's trying to figure out if there is something that's been spilt on the trousers as the kobold is carrying it up.
Make a perception check.
Artorius will step forward and go, "Nice to meet you, Bandolier. Name's Arthur. I've got a few things, if you can get hold of them and provide them, that'd be great."
Fine to meet you, Arthur. Bandolier, Ban is fine. What can I do for you?
So, a couple of items, if you don't mind. I need some manacles or handcuffs.
Can do that.
2 sets would be fine, if you could.
No problem at all.
Cool.
I've got them in.
Outfits, something that you can provide. More like disguises than anything.
Okay. I've got a few Custodians uniforms and Custodes uniforms. I've got some Null Effectus uniforms, or are you looking for something a little bit more generic?
A little bit more generic, so I'd like some at high class, a suit, a tuxedo, something like that. I'd like a low class outfit, something that will get me fitting in with the lower classes in needs be, and then I need something that I can potentially disguise myself with, whether it's a hat, a hood, something that will completely change my appearance totally.
Okay. I think I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yep.
He stands up from his desk and he kind of puts his arm out straight to where the top of your head is. Just kind of goes to his chest. Yeah, that'll do. No worries.
And then, look, writing has always been a bit of a problem with me. Do you have something that might be able to help? Obviously, I can't really see what I'm doing, but if you've got some of that,
Can see why that might be a problem. Yeah.
So if you've got anything like that, that'd be great.
He sort of starts pulling out drawers from his desk, and there's so much rattling around. It sounds like every single drawer is just full of batteries. It's just like just so much jangling and like keys and batteries or whatever. There's just junk in all of these drawers. Opens about 3 or 4 drawers, gets to the bottom one. Goes, oh yeah. And he pulls out a long blue feather quill. Yeah, that should do you. He sort of goes to grab your hand.
I reach up and grab the quill out of his and goes, "Thank you."
Oh, just give it a whistle and dictate, and it should make any notes you need.
Thank you. I'll start writing the list of everything else that I'd like if you guys want to carry on, and I will go out into the hallway and start dictating the list of the other stuff that I want.
Yeah. So you give a little sharp whistle, and it goes. And it just goes right next to sort of just off to the corner of your eye, and you pull out your notepad and it goes down. And as you start to speak, you can hear the scratching on the paper.
Fantastic. Good. Yep. So I will be stood out in the hallway for a minute or two, just writing a list of stuff I'd like. Or if I finish that list, I won't go straight back into Bandolier. I'll go in to see Quill, but I'll leave you guys to do this bit first.
Okay, fine. What did you get for your perception, Jax?
23.
23. Okay, yeah. You see it is a large dollop of melted cheese and ketchup, which has gone all over the crotch of his trousers.
Okay, cool. Jack's kind of smirking a bit, seeing that, returns his gaze to Bandolier and kind of adopts a really centered posture, grounded, back straight, almost the arms at the side. Just okay, if we're engaging on a mission, I require some kind of armament, whether that be breastplate or otherwise, gunpowder, bullets, smokes, comms link, tactical advisors, rations, civvies, general.
Oh, fine, all that's fine.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Heard every word of it.
Heard and processed are different.
Yeah, I mean, anything you guys want, I can get you, but just try to bring the energy down a bit when you're in here. You know, it's like it doesn't all need to be so upright and stuff. But I can wait. Gunpowder.
Yeah, and I take the flintlock from my holster again.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about this now. Actually, do you mind if I have a look?
Go for it. It's not loaded. I gave it to Quill earlier. I didn't think that'd be a good idea.
You see, as he takes it off you, he pulls, cocks back the sort of barrel of it and pulls back a pin to release the whole barrel from the sort of action chamber. Seems like he knows what he's doing with this thing, and looks through it. 35 ball, that's not bad. Nice bit of kit, that. A little bit rusty on the action.
It's been a little bit since I've properly used it, other than earlier today.
Touch of oil, it'll be fine.
You seem to be familiar with them.
Well, not this specific model, but the technology is known to me, yeah. Bit of a tinkerer, you might have noticed.
Kind of at that, can I have a look around and see what's, what he's kind of got going on, if there's anything a work in development type of thing?
Yeah, there does appear to be quite a number of what you might consider to be prototypes. Some of them are more identifiable, there's sort of a backpack with additional arms on it, additional robotic arms and stuff. One of the arms is kind of broken to the side and hanging a little bit loose. There's other various, there's almost what looks like a kind of little tricycle thing. There's lots and lots of sort of half-started projects in this room, but everything is kind of hidden behind piles of weapons and armors and other staves and shit like that just various objets are.
I think kind of taking this all in, Lumiel, you just see a bit of a smile tug at Jax's mouth and just remind me, okay, how about this? If I promise to, relax, what if I brought some of my blueprints in and you had a look at them?
Oh, a bit of an engineer yourself, are you?
Yeah.
Can definitely have a look.
Amateur, but, got some ideas.
Yeah, I can tell. And he's sort of looking at the gun and how it's been maintained. All right. And he
just
pulls out a little oil, little tiny little oil can, just bloop, 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 into the sort of trigger action. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Puts the bolt back on, hands it back to you.
Kind of ashamedly takes it and just I used to be really on it. Never mind. Lumiel, go.
I kind of just want something a little bit more simple, I think. And she because she's too short for the desk, she kind of flies up and sits on the desk itself. I kind of just want if you got a cool dagger, I've got some daggers, but I like daggers. And he hears in his head, maybe one that does something, a little bit more dangerous. But yeah, that's what I really want, is just a dagger.
As you hopped up onto the table, you did see onto one of the cisterns, he's got about 3 or 4 large cisterns towards the back of his desk. You see this winged kobold kind of creep up and just start looking at you, really kind of glaring at you, and does not look happy with your presence. He goes back behind the cistern. Yeah, I mean, I've got loads of daggers, but I think I can find something you'll like. Yeah, for sure. All right, well, that's quite a few bits for me to be getting on with. So, unless there's anything else, give us an hour. Should have it all ready for you.
You should maybe feed your friend a little bit. He looks a bit grumpy.
Backpack?
I get a bit grumpy if I haven't eaten.
Backpack, you hungry? Yeah, he's always hungry. We had our lunch 10 minutes ago. In fact, that's what you... Oh, well. Actually, no way. I need to make it again. You might be right. Anything else?
I've got something, and she does. She starts rummaging around in this little pouch in her pocket, and she pulls out this like tiny bit of like jerky that she's got, and she kind of throws it to him.
He just bats it.
Oh my god, sorry.
He just bats it onto the floor. Sorry.
Well, I tried.
He doesn't like fair folk. I keep telling him it's just, you know, those times are in the past. We should be accepted of all people, but he's a little bastard. Useful to have around, though.
I've dealt with worse. I will try again another time.
Well,
As
see
she
you
hops
in an hour
down.
or so.
Yeah.
And you see, he doesn't. He just sort of leans back in his chair. It doesn't look like he immediately jumps to get to work or anything like that. He just sort of leans back and goes back to painting his vase. Lumiel, you'd probably know more than most of the rest of them that he's painting a bong.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And Artorius, you're heading in to see Quill, yeah?
Yes, please.
He is busy with files running through, you know, putting different sheets of paper into different files. Oh, that's from 4 years ago. That's not going to be. Oh, hey, Mr. Artorius, right?
Yeah, that's right. You must be Quill.
Yeah, that's me, Quill. Artorius Montague III.
That is surprisingly accurate. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've been reading up about you. I've been really excited to meet you. Actually, there's so much that we have to talk about.
Sure. Whenever we both have enough time for that.
Well, I mean, yeah, I've got time now.
I don't. So there's a few
I'm
things
sorry
that I
to hear
wanted
that.
to kind of discuss with you. So a couple of things. So I believe that you're kind of the man in the know around here about all things that in and around the city. You've got your kind of finger on the pulse of all the things, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know. I wouldn't say, you know, finger on the pulse or anything like that. But, you know, if information is moving around, it usually comes by me. Yeah. And if there's any information in our database, it takes me, you know, not too long to cross-reference it. And if there's something you need me to pull up, then I can go through that for you. No problem. What do you need?
Amazing. Cool. So I've written a name down here.
Okay,
And he
sure.
kind of like hands him a piece of parchment. I need as much information on this individual as possible, and then if there's anything nefarious in your records, I need you to get rid of it.
Oh, I see. We're not really, I don't know. Our records are private to ourselves. So, you know, if we get rid of the things from our records, they're not necessarily eliminated from the wider records of other agencies. So I don't
That's
know if
fine.
that's such a good idea. Are you trying to kind of make that happen? Are you trying to make it so that other agencies don't have this information? Or are you just, I gotta be honest, you don't have the authorization to tell me to delete anything from these archives.
How about this, Quill? We have a look for the information first, and if anything pops up, then we cross that bridge when we come to it.
Sure, I can let you know straight away. I'll get working on it right now. I mean, I can, you know, yeah. I mean, it's a pretty recognizable name. I can start looking through things right now. I'll put it in. I'll plug it in and see what comes out.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. So your databases, do they have any information on like magical artifacts and things like that?
I mean, if it's kind of limited right now, like I was saying to your friends earlier, you know, I've only really been here for a couple of weeks, so I'm only just in the rudimentary stages of getting things set up. You know, we've got some basic like criminal record stuff. In case we need to look up nefarious individuals, we can sometimes get information about those, or like gang activities, some of the known gangs around the city. We can get information about those. Also, you know, political figures and stuff like that. Most of it's kind of mostly accessible information already. Some of the really good stuff is what I was hoping to talk to you about, actually, because you were Crown Service, right?
So what I wanted to talk to you about, Quill, was a magical artifact that I was kind of handed, and I wanted to know if you knew anything about it.
Oh, okay, sure. What do you have it with you?
Yeah. Look, trust is a commodity that I'm not overexpending on right now, so this needs to stay between these four walls for now. I don't mind, obviously, the powers that be knowing that we've had this conversation, but the rest of everyone else, I want this to kind of keep between us, all right?
Yeah, nothing leaves the house, sir. Don't worry about it. We're all one big happy family here, and we trust each other.
Okay, so the mistake you made there was saying that nothing leaves the house. I don't want this to leave this fucking room.
Make an intimidation check.
Sure. That is a 9 plus... Is that 16?
16.
No.
Okay, yeah, sure. I mean, I'll come to you first. Sure, no problem.
Sure.
I mean,
Thank you.
yeah, I'll keep it between us. Sure.
Cool. And I pull out a small, very translucent orb out of my pocket. It's only small, golf ball sized. And I kind of like just hand it over and go, tell me what you know about that.
I mean, I would have to cross-reference some things before, Actually, orbs are a very common geometrical shape for magical items to come in. So it being an orb of slight incandescence doesn't really narrow things down too much. Although they have to, I might have to. Am I all right to talk to Bandolier about this?
Sure. And since this is like a trust building exercise between you and me, Quill, I'm going to leave that in your possession for a short while for you to spend as much time as you need on that. You get back to me when you find out, right?
Mr. Artorias, honestly, you honor me. It's this trust that we're building together. I think it's the start of a really fruitful relationship, between all of us. I feel that way about all of your friends, actually. I think there's really some really interesting work we can do here together. But no, I'll definitely guard it with my life. Everything's safe between these four walls and within the house. But I'll make sure it doesn't slip into the wrong hands, and I'll find out as much as I can about it. You have my word.
You're gonna go far, Quill. And he just kind of turns and goes to leave, and then just goes, oh, and that name? Get right on that, yeah?
Straight away, sir.
Excellent. And he walks out, kind of shuts the door, walks back in.
When it's done, can we start talking about some of your Crown Service stuff? The door closes.
Yeah. And then I'll walk back into where Jax and Lumiel is. I won't interrupt the conversation. I'll just kind of like hang back a few paces between and wait for a pause.
And there's a pause sort of as you heard the conversation end before where, Lumiel puts in her request and he says, yeah, no worries. And sits back and sees you come in.
Just kind of walk over and hand him a piece of parchment. And on that parchment, because I don't like everything being a secret, guys. I'm not that kind of player. On the parchment, for those beady-eyed individuals, you'll see I have written healing crystals / potions. Useful potions to get us out of a bind, such as enlarge, invisibility, etc. A bag of holding, ? Or a bag of exponential amount of holding. Yeah, bag of many spaces, ? And then I've written that I'd like a weapon with a magical effect.
Okay, cool. So all these requisitions placed, you guys are quite satisfied with that. Meanwhile, Marcus, you've been sort of trying to work your way out of this dull lull in your senses, and you begin to sort of start returning to your normal self again after this crash that you often experience.
I think I look for, knowing that I only have one vial left of base ingredients, which is not enough.
I'm just going to clarify one thing for you. So that is enough for you to use all of the abilities you have left for this day.
Yeah.
Unless you restock, you won't get your stuff back after a long rest.
Yeah. So I think I'm knowing that Marcus would immediately look into his bag for his calling card.
Okay. Would you like to describe that for us?
So it sort of looks like it's very weird because it sort of looks like a playing card. But as you look at it, it has a face on it. Almost imagine like a regular a regular playing card, but instead of, say for example, that it's the jack. But instead of looking sideways, it looks straight ahead. But as you turn it 360 degrees, it's a different face than what it was before.
Yeah. So as you begin to turn it, it goes from like a jack to a king to a queen.
Yeah.
Different faces. You begin turning it until you turn it into the correct configuration to open this line of communication.
You there?
I'm always here, man.
I'm running low.
It's becoming quicker and quicker.
Yeah, it's not good.
Busy week, eh?
Yeah. I'm in a new setup. I think I might need a refill tonight, if possible.
Okay. I can do that. I'm in the Rat Downs right now, but I should be able to make my way to you this evening.
Right. Same place?
As always. How you doing, Marcus? You sound stressed.
It's just bugging me. Fuck it, I know that this would have happened. I wouldn't have done it in the first place, but...
Oh, hey, listen, man, it's not your fault, and you're not the first.
I know. How are the others?
Mixed bag.
Let me know if you need anything, okay?
A little gold always helps, but...
I'll see what I can get together.
See you tonight.
Yeah. And then I'll reverse the configuration back.
Turns back into an ace.
And I'll put my armor back on. And then I'll just grab my hammer and walk downstairs.
Okay, you all begin having, explored the house a little bit, made your requisitions. You sort of gather in the main briefing room. Fortress is not there anymore. But you do hear muted, sort of muffled conversation coming from Regent's office. And you hear it's Regent having a conversation. A one-way conversation. You don't hear any other voices. And some of the more, whoever's got the highest passive perception, which I think is you, Lumiel?
16?
16, yeah. You sort of notice the Regent is in his office, standing up with his back to the sort of frosted glass, standing up and away from his desk towards one side of the room. And he seems to be having not a heated conversation, but clearly not a very fond conversation. But you're not really able to make out much of what's being said because the audio is very muffled through this partition. But you guys recongregate all together. You've probably got about half an hour or so left until you need to go get your stuff from Bandolier.
Arthur will probably approach Artemis.
Mm-hmm. Artemis is probably just scanning over the blackboards and the things that have been written around. He seems to... There's very much sort of just a very starey, wandery eye look around him as he seems to be scanning everything, but for some reason. But he's just sort of like looking around a lot.
Arthur will approach and just go, calm down yet?
No, this isn't the kind of place where calm comes to be. This is a very intense place. Lots of people, lots of things.
Only if you let it. Look, if it makes you feel any better, you don't need to be jittery around me.
I don't know. It's hard to do this with people I don't know, to come from where I've come from. I don't know.
Well, let's remedy that then. I mean, you see Arthur hold a hand out and he goes, my name's Artemis. No, it's not. My name's Artorius. My name's Artorius, but you can call me Arthur.
And as you hold the hand out, the pockets stay in, but you feel what feels like a firm hand within yours sort of squeeze and shake. It's invisible. There is no force, but it is just a force of energy essentially that holds your hand and sort of gives you a shake as he sort of stands.
Arthur, you feel this quite as a sort of a normal handshake, but you do see the aura surrounding Artemis. You do notice the hands, but you do sort of see a hand, this aura coming. So to you, it feels very much like just a normal handshake, but just the form is off.
Okay. Well, I'm not from here. I'm not from around here at all, in fact.
From the city or from just this general area?
Both. Let's say both. From someplace far away. So I know what it's like to have to try and do things with people you don't know. It can be nerve-wracking and kind of get your guard up, right?
Yeah. I don't know where I'm from either. I don't know. Yeah, I'm from somewhere.
Bit of advice.
Mm.
Keep that guard up.
What are you gonna do?
Just a general good rule of thumb. Just to keep your guard up at all times. You never really know, do you?
Oh no, I know. I don't. As he sort of looks around, you will hear telepathically in your head via the mind link. You just hear, and just generally, these people are not trustworthy. I don't know where they come from or what they do, but they are far too unknown to be trustworthy. And you can talk back as well. This is a two-way thing.
So for the rest of you, you kind of just see Artemis and Artorius just stood locked in this silent stare, and Arthur just turns to you and goes, "No, trust is earned, never expected.
Mm-hmm.
Give it time, though. We might be relying on these people for our lives."
You both, this sort of like silent stare and this internal conversation is interrupted by an arm draping over each of your shoulders, and in the middle, the head and face of a red tiefling with a kind of 80s pompadourish kind of haircut. "We getting friendly over here? Well, I've got just the thing." And Artemis, you see raised from over the shoulder of Arthur in one of the hands of Lezaleth, a whiskey bottle is raised.
Mm-hmm.
"I got better ways of doing that. Come on."
You genuinely see Artemis like convulse down and like away from this. And it's like, oh no.
Okay, not one for touching. I'll remember that.
Just touch, do we? Okay, that's fine. Okay.
I grab the whiskey bottle, kind of pull it from their hand, and just go, "Cheers. Nice to meet you, Artemis." And just kind of turn my back towards both and walk to a desk and just kind of plunk the whiskey down, don't open it, and just sit at the desk and just kind of like relax in the chair a little bit.
Aramis, sort of keeping his hands to his side, looks to them both and goes, "You're the dogs, right? That's what they call you?"
That's what they call us.
Why?
Because we fetch, we bark, and we bite. That's about it.
I've known people who bark, but it's usually on command and for different reasons. Why do you do those things?
They pay
How long
us.
have you been here? What's your...
We've been here a while. We have our reasons to trust the Regent. He got us out of a bind. We owe him a favor. Many favors, in fact.
So everyone here owes him something.
And just like dogs, we're loyal.
Oh, that's fine.
I take the moniker as a compliment.
Oh no, I hadn't assumed otherwise. It's I had a moniker as well. We all have code names. It's fun. I just want to know more. I guess this is a very strange place. Very strange.
Well, if you want to know more, you're asking the wrong person. I make a point of not knowing nothing, especially when it comes to all this freaky business. But hey, you need a little outside security. You need someone to, pull in, bring someone in. Something you ain't got time for, let us know, as long as it's not, field work. As long as it's easy.
Feels work? As in like feelings work or?
Field work.
Oh, sorry, there's a D in there. I didn't hear it. That's my fault. It's just the way you talk. It's
going to get a lot worse when we open that bottle of whiskey, honey.
Oh, I can't drink. It's not good for me.
What do you mean?
I have things to keep under control, and I should not get out of control, so I don't.
You see
It's okay.
her. You see her eyes, or their eyes, begin to sort of like narrow, and a wry smile creep across their face as you sort of say that you can't drink because things will be unleashed. It's not hard to determine that they are calculating schemes and pranks and plans in their heads.
Challenge
They're quite-
accepted.
Yeah, they're quite excited by this prospect. I'll get the glasses then. Shoots over and look over it like a very obvious light over at Arturius. Not that you can see it, but the rest of you do. She brings a bunch of shot glasses to the table. Y'all joining us? We're getting
Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
Ain't no better way to do it.
I also don't drink, but I am happy to talk to you while you guys drink around me.
Fair
I'm
enough.
seriously
That's more for
interested
me.
to see how much you can take before you start flying about.
No, it's kind of the opposite. It doesn't take much until I just fall asleep. So I don't drink, but I'm
Oh.
happy to talk while you guys do it.
Right?
Tiny livers can't take as much alcohol.
All right, well, that's 2 for me then. Anyone else backing out?
Jax at this point has already kind of silently walked behind everyone, has plunked down with boots up on the table, and has grabbed the bottle of bourbon that Arturius had stolen for him, and is just like, cheers.
I pick up two.
Like a man that comes equipped.
I pick up 2 of the shot glasses, walk up to where Jax is sitting, put 2 down, and just kind of like just nod ever so slightly.
And I will pour 2 of the little glasses.
And I will hold one of them up to you, Jink. Knock that down.
You notice that Jax, upon cheersing with you, also slams it down before knocking it back.
And then I take the empty glass back to wherever this tiefling has stood and slam it face down on the ground, but keep dead, like, straight, as if I was staring at them, just like,
Yeah.
poof, and then sit back down.
Well, if you guys got the good stuff, I'll put this back in my dorm. They pick up the bottle of whiskey that they brought out. and
As soon as they do, I'd go, I wouldn't fucking bother.
Woe betide me for trying to make things friendly around here. Everyone's always so stuffy. I was hoping for a little bit of fun from the new recruits.
I think he's saying that we probably need both.
I mean, we did the job
Come get it.
in a couple of minutes, right?
Yeah, well, loosen things up a little bit. They pour a very healthy shot of whiskey that spills over onto the table, and another one very much the same. There's a bit of a puddle of whiskey on the table now. Lifts it up, passes it to you, Marcus.
Cheers.
Here's to new allies and new loyalties.
And whatever else comes.
I'll drink to that. Slams
Or
it.
another couple of. Well, he's taking his bloody glass back now. I'll pour him one. I'll swig from the bottle and hand it over.
DM.
Yep.
Jax does a knockdown on the table every time they drink, right?
Yeah.
What would I know about that? Would I know anything about that to be specific towards a faction?
I wouldn't say a faction, really. No, it's kind of. Make a history check for me.
Yes, sir. Oh, I forgot my dice. There they are. I have some new dice, guys.
Ooh.
I bought some specific dice for this wonderful mess of a character. And those are some good dice. That is history, is that? So 15. Where's my skills? Plus 9, 24.
24. Okay, yeah. So this is a fairly common thing, especially around the Grand Market. You know, the Grand Market's quite sort of an entertainment hub, as well as the Rat Downs. But mostly the Grand Market, there's a lot of clubs and stuff like that, and high-end bars. You often see a bunch of people slamming their drinks before they drink them. But knowing what you know so far about Jax, and sort of having a loose understanding of some of the military in Valvaris and stuff like that, this has been known to be a toast which is often accompanied by a slogan, which is used by the Valgir's special forces, which are the war divers. You can't quite remember what the slogan is, but you know they say something and then slam their glasses down and drink it. You're trying to remember it. It's like down the hatch or down something.
You're missing a piece, right? I'm pretty sure you left something out.
I think how I drink is my business.
Yeah, sorry. Force of habit. I just thought you were supposed to say something afterwards.
I mean, am I supposed to do anything adhering to what was when it no longer is?
True.
Old habits die hard.
Yeah.
Lizaleth, really? Fortress is back towards the chalkboard with her clipboard. Really? On the first day? I'm just trying to break the ice a little. These guys seem a little stuffy. Not your job, Lizaleth, please. Sorry. We have much work to do. Good. Things are getting a little too tense around here anyway. I'll see you guys around. And Lizaleth stands up, grabs the rest of her bottle of whiskey.
The rest of you will see that Arthur kind of like, instead of the slash back now, straight up.
Jax is slowly tucking the bottle under the desk.
House has informed me that Bandolier has readied your acquisitions. You'll be able to collect them shortly. But seeing as you're all here now and prepared, we might as well get on with the briefing. Shall we?
If you want to.
Or do you need a few moments to shake it off?
No, we're fine.
Fully prepared, Fortress.
We're good.
Shake off what?
And I will whistle and get Quill out, the magic quill out, because I need to be able to take notes, and I will have the parchment on the desk and the quill ready, and I will be whispering notes.
Fortress walks to the side of the sort of cork board and chalkboard that's up at the front of this room to where the Regent's desk, Regent's office is. She raps on the glass. Regent, they're ready for you. After a few minutes and like sort of a little bit of shuffling around and like of a chair that you hear from behind the door, Regent opens the door and kind of stumbles a little bit to the side with the momentum of the door. All right, cool. Let's get this done. He steps out, slowly walking like very, making a point of his footsteps as he steps towards the center of the room. Right. Well, you all showed me what you could do this morning in a bit of a sticky situation. Now I need to see how your minds work. At approximately 3 a.m. this morning, Containment Vault 19 at the Obscuratorium was breached. Lumiel, you know the Obscuratorium, and also the rest of you know the Obscuratorium to be the Nullifectus HQ. The Nullifectus are the branch of the Monetari, which is like the Arcane Oversight Bureau. The branch of the Arcane Oversight Bureau that handles anti-magic and magic suppression. Things where magic is going out of control or magic is being used wrongly, the Nullifectus come in to stop that magic from happening. And the Obscuratorium is their headquarters. It's also where, Lumiel, you have often been tasked with returning arcane contraband to the Nullifectus HQ of the Obscuratorium for it to be sorted and contained. Though you've not explored the Obscuratorium much yourself. Among the items targeted was a highly sensitive magical artifact known as the Dunadidium. No, the Dunadiadem. And he's kind of reading it, Duna, and Forge goes, Dunadiadem. Yeah, the Dunadiadem. The attempt was foiled thanks to the work of the Nullifectus and Crown Service, in particular an undercover agent who infiltrated the group who attacked the HQ. However, not all went to plan. One Nullifectus agent and 3 members of the Crown Service was killed in the confrontation, and in the chaos, the embedded agent was unable to break cover and get away. The rest of the thieves escaped as well, though we were able to keep the Dunadiadem from them. You saw what that was this morning. We have word that the group are now held up in an old bakery in Cobblebank with 1 hostage. The Crown Service agent was able to assist in the escape of another hostage who passed a message on that the group are planning to make their escape from the city in the next 48 hours, once the heat's died down. Now, Crown Service Active Operations Director Gallius Orthom has requested we extract this agent and the remaining hostage, as well as eliminate the rest of the suspects. With a hostage still on the scene and a proven penchant for violence in these fuckers, they cannot risk a raid by Castilians, so a tactful approach has been requested. Why they asked that of me, your guess is as good as mine. Now,
Yeah. Marcus is looking around, knowing what the fuck went down earlier today, as he says, like, a discreet approach. Just goes.
Regent begins to sort of walk forwards into the room between you guys all sat at these tables. Now, I could tell you the description of this undercover agent. Would make things a whole lot easier, but then that sounds like more of a job for the dogs. You've already proven yourselves in a fight. Now I want to know if you've got the keen minds for the job and the investigative skills to do the tasks that are assigned to you. See how good you are at gathering evidence and putting the pieces together. And you'll be in the field on your own this time. No help from me or anyone else here. So, with what little information we have, you need to determine which of this group is indeed the undercover agent, kill the rest of them, and extract the agent and the hostage. Does that all sound clear to me? To you?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Old bakery, hostage, Gallius Orthom's orders, extract the hostage, find out who the undercover agent is, kill the rest, only bring the undercover agent and the hostage back here for questioning. I've pretty much got that, sir.
You have indeed, Arthurius. I'm glad you're being thorough. You'll all need to be. But we're not going to send you out on your own without anything to go on. We do have a little bit of information we can get you started with, but most of the investigation is going to be up to you. If you guys would all like to hop over to Owlbear,
Oh!
you will see, and obviously so that our lovely audience can see as well, you will see upon the board at the back of the room while the Regent has been giving this briefing, Fortress has been putting up sort of information, writing some things down, adding them to the board. This is going to be, for this campaign, your guys' way of taking notes and making sure that everything is crossed and cross-referenced and where you're going to be linking things. So I encourage you, if you want to add anything to this board, do so, or do let me know. You should have the ability to add text and things like that. Please don't draw too many dicks.
Darn.
But this is where you're going to be able to add
No,
information
stop it.
where you
Stop
want.
it! Stop it!
I knew this was going to happen.
Hey.
Get it out of your systems. Get it out of your systems. So, Regent steps away and says, right, well, good luck to all of you. You've got 48 hours, otherwise they're gone in the wind. Use the time wisely, figure out what you can, and try not to kill one of ours. To be fair, if you do, I won't hate you that much. The director's a cunt anyway. And he goes back into his office.
Regent, before you, sorry, you said some of the guys died.
Agents for
Do we know
Crown
which?
Service. We need the identity of those.
Do we? Yeah. Do we know the identity of those?
That sounds like something that an investigator might figure out, doesn't it? All right, well, good luck then. See ya. And he goes back into his office, and slams the door, and kind of as he goes back in. Fortress steps forwards. We don't know the identity of the casualties as yet. This just happened this morning. The artifact that you were able to recover from O'Gromley's was the second part of this artifact. The circlet, why did I make this such a weird name? The Dunadiadem. The Dunadiadem. It makes sense if you break down the word. The Dunadiadem was just the circlet part. The Tear of Kronos was the gem that you saw. These have since been returned to an area of safekeeping. But that was their target. We have now been able to recover both parts. There were some casualties at the scene, but there may be other clues around that we have not yet been able to uncover. I suggest if you still have any contacts within peacekeeping forces within the city, they might be a good place also to start. The Obscuratorium is located in the Crystal Plaza. You will have limited access. The area is currently locked down by Crown Services agents, and Argent Star are investigating. But it does appear that the suspects were able to enter the vault via some kind of tunnel. No magic was detected at the scene by the Nullifectus or the Monetari, so physical means were used.
Okay.
Do they know that our presence is going to be there?
Well, that brings me on to another item. We have some other things, as well as what Bandolier has been able to acquire for you, which will help you along with this task. The first one is the tail. It's the Tactical Arcane Liaison extension. And she places a small box on one of the tables towards the front of the briefing room and opens it up. And inside are 5 what almost look like very thick paper clips. It's almost like they'd hook over one ear. And with like quite a long tail on them that kind of almost looks like a little snake skeleton that comes off the bottom of it. These are your personal communicators. They will also allow you to communicate with me at tactical operations in the field. They do serve another purpose though. And she takes one and kind of clicks one thing on it, and it turns into an Argent Star badge. It just goes, it, like all clockwork kind of unfolds into an Argent Star badge, and then she clicks it again, and it kind of reconfigures itself into a Monetari badge. You will have access and be able to pass yourself off as various government agencies, but under scrutiny, I would suggest remaining vague. This will get you past most things, or get people to believe that you are who you say you are, but you are not affiliated with these organizations any longer. So I suggest using it only in desperate situations. The main purpose of the tale is for us to communicate.
Wonderful. Fortress, do we have an office space that we can work in and work out of?
This is it. If you require some privacy, you can find dormitories on the 5th floor.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I suggest you collaborate, though. You all have very unique and different skills that have been carefully selected to work together.
Okay. Why is this our job now? Who asked us to do this, or are we doing this of our own accord? Who gives you these missions?
This has come as a favor from the Crown Service Active Operations Director, Gallius Orthon. Our orders come from different places. Sometimes they come from us directly, depending on what the situation requires. But that is not of your concern. For now.
Okay, that's
Well.
sure.
Artorius will stand, walk to the front and pick the box up, and walk to each person and kind of like hold the box out for them to pick out one of these communicators.
There is some other information that we are privy to, mostly because it's expected to hit the morning papers. As the gang of suspects was fleeing the Obscuratorium, some of them were said to identify themselves as gang members. That will require some further questioning of witnesses. We don't know specifically which gang they claimed affiliation to, but, well, that's another part of your investigation.
Very well. Thanks,
I would
Fortress.
suggest liaising with who you can to find more information amongst the various authorities, and then investigate the scene yourselves. Beyond
Right.
that, I can offer you no further assistance. You are still being tested, as I'm sure you've determined.
Okay.
48 hours.
Say again?
I just have 48 hours.
Yes, we would recommend you commence your final operations of extraction within 48 hours. The hostage who was able to escape carried word from the undercover agent that the gang were currently laying low, waiting for an opportunity to move out of the city. With their goal in tatters, they are likely have other people looking for them other than us. So if you are to approach their safe house in Cobblebank, which the location is known to us, then I would recommend doing so with great caution so as not to alert them. We risk them going straight back underground if they're aware that we are aware of their location.
Very well.
Speaking of, you can find the safe house that they're held up in, an old bakery on Shale Street in Cobblebank.
Okay.
Do we have any spotters?
The dogs are available to you, though I wouldn't say they're the most stealthy. They're more sort of
We
perimeter
have no
security.
active spotters on the safe house.
The director has specifically requested all forces avoid the area. We do not wish to put the hostages, the undercover agent, or the operation in jeopardy by alerting them to our presence. There
Very
are
well.
people watching the surrounding streets to make sure they don't make a move, but no one currently has eyes on the bakery itself. It's too risky. Though, if you feel you have the expertise to gain such a perspective on things, then I leave that discretion to you.
Right, well, looks like we've got some work to do.
You certainly do, Artorius. Remember, you can reach me on your tail anytime you wish.
Right.
Okay.
Sure.
Go and collect your requisitions from Bandolier and get right to it. We expect great things from you. We would not assign this task to you on so minor detail if we did not believe that you amongst you have the ability to succeed. We need you to succeed.
And we will.
Yes, you will.
If everyone, I can go up to Bandolier and collect everyone's stuff if everyone wants. Unless you all want to pick your stuff up individually, it's just a lot of
I can
effort. I
help
can
you.
just collect it.
Are we going to a room first, or are we leaving?
I think let's get our stuff and then let's put our heads together as the best place to start with this.
Well, just let's all go together then. big troop through the house, and let's not, dilly dally.
Remember, you are running on limited time. I imagine some of you will have different leads that you wish to chase up. While I would recommend taking the final approach of the operation together as a team, you'll need to save time, so do what you need to do to get this done within 48 hours, whether that means Each of you going off on your own investigations or teaming up all together, that's up to you. I'll leave it to your discretion once again. We have every faith that you will succeed.
Well,
Okay.
Well, if you guys have stuff to pick up, I'll go and speak to Quill quickly. He's the talkative one, right?
He's next door to where we're picking up our stuff, so
Okay.
I would recommend getting to the point as quickly as you possibly can with Quill.
yes.
I usually do.
Very well. Dismissed.
I stand up.
Jax.
and
I would
During
imagine
this-
half of us are already walking out of the room when she said that.
See, like Jax
She
is
said it mostly
actually,
for herself, to be honest. Yeah.
Jax actually hasn't moved at all, so he's still got his like feet up on the desk and stuff, and is trying to look really like casual and like as though it's like half-assed, like not really paying attention. Meanwhile, there's a piece of parchment with the most like detailed, like color-coded type notes going on that he's
Kind of
just doing
notes.
under the table. But he's just like keeping it a secret, and then just kind of like looks up to see everyone leaving, and just kind of goes, "Fortress, can I have a word for a second? Not case related."
Certainly. What can I do for you?
Kind of waiting for everyone to leave.
Fortress.
Yeah, I'm already out the door.
Fortress places her clipboard on one of the desks towards the front and walks along and turns round one of the chairs and kind of sits, crosses one leg over the other.
Just my father was with me at the meeting interrogation. Just want to know what he's been informed, whether I'm gonna go home tonight and he's just gonna be waiting outside my apartment. I just need to kind of know what I'm getting into there.
Your father has been given what information is applicable to him. He is aware of your transfer, though he knows not where. He is not privy to such information. Let it remain that way, please, Jax.
Oh, I don't plan on telling him anything. The less he's involved in my life, the better.
Tell him something, just not.
Fine. I'll figure something out. Just wanted to see what that was, like what they'll be knowing about and what to avoid saying.
Jax, I've read your file. Know that you are here because your talents are appreciated. Like I said before, we don't like to think of your approach to things as misguided, just misdirected, misaimed, misapplied.
Aiming up. Pretty good rule to follow.
Exactly. Do what you do best.
Yeah. I will. All right. Yeah, thanks. And just kind of realizes that the paper is just like slightly out of his bag before shoving it back down. It's like, I'll go meet with the others.
Don't let Quill see that. He'll get far too excited and you'll never get away.
No, he won't. No, mine, not his. Just kind of awkwardly, just like leaves.
Fortress remains sitting in the chair that she sat in and just sort of waits for you to leave. You run upstairs to the rest of them. You guys, you go into Bandelier's. Bandelier has got his trousers back on.
Yay!
And there is a few chests, quite a large pile of stuff. There's some stuff that you definitely didn't requisition on there as well, but it looks like he's just put it there while he's been searching through a bunch of other stuff. But Arturius, you have you have one set of manacles and one set of handcuffs.
Yep.
You have a nice kind of dinner jacket. Looks like it could probably do with a dry clean though. And nice dress trousers. And some of the other outfits and items that you requested. Pretty much, well, yeah, all of you get the items that you asked for because there was nothing too out there. Lumiel, you are presented with a dagger.
Okay.
And goes, just out of interest, are you more of a thrower or more of a stabber?
Oh, definitely a stabber.
Oh, all right, not that one then. He takes the dagger back. He sort of goes, hang on, all right. Go on.
I mean, I can throw better than anyone else I know, but sometimes it's really nice to see the white of their eyes when you slip. I'm talking too much. Sorry.
Yeah, that's disturbing as fuck. You should probably see something about that.
As he says that, I just kind of go, I know a guy.
And he pulls out what looks almost like a kind of it's a dagger. There's no cross hilt to it or anything like that. It's just handle straight up into dagger, and the dagger is kind of wavy until it gets to the point. And I'll tell you what that does after we take a little break.
Yeah.
When we come back from the break, you guys are all going to be equipped with your items and ready to set out on your first case, your first investigation. Where will this go? Will you be able to figure it out? Will you be able to put the pieces together, or is an innocent man about to be slaughtered? We'll find out very, very soon. Please join us again after the break. Please enjoy these messages from our sponsors and a little bit of more information about what you're seeing on this stream today. Sorry about those technical issues at the start. We got through it, and we're very much enjoying ourselves. So come back when we return in about 15 minutes. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Aerilon, Sins of the Peacekeeper unfolds in the expansive metropolis of Valvaris. It's the crown jewel of Aerilon. Some might consider the capital city of the wider Aerilon, and it's often referred to as the oldest city. Valvaris has grown significantly and exponentially over the previous centuries, expanding far beyond its original walled boundaries. Unlike typical Dungeons and Dragons city settings, which often sort of focus on a singular or just a couple of themes, like Waterdeep being a bastion of trade and opportunity, or Candlekeep being, a fortress of scholarly pursuits. Valvaris is a diverse metropolis where one can discover a myriad of experiences, pursuits and creeds across its many districts and boroughs, each almost like a city within the city itself. Due to its immense size, significance, diversity of population, range of industries, Valvaris requires a multifaceted approach to law enforcement and national security. Various law enforcement and military entities work collaboratively, or sometimes in opposition with one another, to maintain order and safety for the city and its millions of inhabitants. The members of our party each come from one of these peacekeeping organisations, each forcibly reassigned, shall we say, from their original roles to a clandestine division that prioritises autonomy and plausible deniability in their pursuit of justice and Valvarian security. When I first came to the group with Aerilon, Sins of the Peacekeeper, one of the main things I wanted to get across was that I wanted them to start out, at least, with characters who are deeply flawed. They're in this position for a reason, and I don't think anyone's quite taken that idea and run with it quite as much as Dan has with Artorias.
So you want to know who Artorias is? Well, it's easy, really. He is the strong but silent type. He is a man of honor, but he is deeply flawed. I'm being given the opportunity to be a player again for a long-term campaign, and it's given me the opportunity to explore some very human elements and very human flaws, and that will come to the surface through Artorias.
When approaching a paladin character, it can be very easy to sort of fall into one of two lanes, be it the hero of justice or the scorned, oathbreaker type out for revenge, whereas Artorias has some elements of both of those, but he is also fighting a much more personal war, aside from the spiritual side of his character.
He is a man of action, but will not act unless there is due cause. you know, he's all about justice, really, as well. Like, he wants to ensure that people are treated fairly, people are treated right, but if you're a wrong'un, he'll put the sword to you without a second thought.
Yeah, what can be said about Jax? I don't want to give too many spoilers away. He's not so much standoffish, more kind of reserved. He's not going to be the first person in the room to say something, but he's also not afraid to speak up for what he believes in. Well, his values are super important. He is a single father of 2 cats living in the Grand Market. He's got a bit of a grungy little apartment with kind of tinkering tables around various like pulleys and mechanisms that break so frequently. Think Rodney from Robots in terms of like loving to tinker, but things explode a lot.
There's another aspect to his character, which is that of legacy. He comes from a family who have served Valvaris for generations.
Yeah, I feel like that might come up.
But he has been kind of thrust into the realization that society does come with a very, very human cost.
I think if he were to have a motto, it would probably leech on the back of the War Divers motto as they descend from the skies into battle of down to death.
So the War Divers are what you might consider the Spec Ops branch of the Valvarian March.
But for him, it's down to death of the system. Anarchy, baby!
Marcus, I would describe as more than meets the eye. Marcus is not to be underestimated.
Marcus is a really interesting one because, you know, he is a very capable person, both on the battlefield and in his investigations.
He might be built like, you know, the stereotypical jock, but he is definitely more clever than you think. That sort of brings up the question, you know, what came first, the brains or the brawn?
He's less trying to redeem himself for past mistakes and more trying to navigate his way through the consequences of decisions he made, which at the time seemed like good decisions to make.
Is his reason for being there his fault? That's debatable, maybe.
But actually have much farther reaching consequences both for himself and the people around him and the city of Valvaris than he may have initially realised.
Marcus has a few skeletons in his closet. Usually you go in and you're like, okay, I'm an adventurer. This time around, I have no idea. And that's gonna be insane and it's scary. But it's also really, really exciting.
Tell you about Lumiel? Well, she loves to be overestimated. And not in the way you might think. So she can be in a room where conversations are happening, where people don't think she really knows what's going on, but she is taking it all in.
Lumiel is definitely going to be the wild card in the party, as Natalie often tends to do.
She's great with details, and she has a long memory. So if you say something or do something that doesn't sit right with her, you can bet your ass that she knows exactly what you said.
They are certainly in this position by their own doing. There is very little manipulation from bureaucrats and higher forces that have gotten Lumiel to where she is. She's a bit of a mischief maker.
More forgive rather than forget. She loves to give people nicknames. She is very friendly and outgoing and personable. She can actually put up with a lot of gruffness before it would bother her. She also knows when to step back.
It's going to be really, really fun to see Lumiel kind of deal with some of the more stoic members of the party and how that is going to clash slightly maybe, but it's going to be an interesting ride for sure.
So I don't know how that's going to fit with the party. We have some interesting names going on so far. She's very aware of her surroundings, so she can fit into most situations comfortably.
Who is Artemis J. Stringfield? He is a character that fundamentally struggles to find a place in the world that seems to struggle to find a place for him.
Artemis is a bit of an enigma. He's figuring some stuff out, both about himself and about the world and its nature, of the nature of being and personality and all these different aspects that make people who they are.
He is different on a number of levels. He has a power that very few others have and could open the world up to him in so many different ways if he really put his mind to it, but he refuses to because he knows the more he does that, the more he will drive away the people he wants to help, wants to be around. He, on a deep level, wants to be accepted, wants to find friends and a place for himself in the world, and to help and to be helpful and do good in whatever way he can. He is full of idiosyncrasies, he is strange, he is a wild intellect and a huge imagination. The two often combine to create all kinds of theories and conspiracies.
I sort of see Artemis almost like the sort of Fox Mulder allegory. He's very much in tune with the other side and constantly curious about what else is out there beyond the veil and beyond what the mind allows us to see.
It's going to be interesting and it's going to be fun to be probably the strangest character in a group of very serious, very hardened detectives by the sounds of it, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I like to be strange.
Welcome back, everyone, to Tales on Tap. I hope you enjoyed that little break there. Some messages from our sponsors and a little bit of information about this world that we're currently inhabiting. We've all gotten our snacks and drinks and stuff like that. Isn't that right, guys?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hope you guys have as well, because we're about to kick back in to the second episode of Aerilon Sins of the Peacekeeper. After this briefing, you'll go and retrieve your items as requested. All the items on your requisitions were supplied to you. However, Arturius, your request for healing crystals and healing potions was not entirely fulfilled.
Okay.
As the Bandelier finishes handing things out, he brings up a little pouch, and he pulls out and puts 2 healing potions on the desk. He says, I'm just sort of in the middle of brewing a few more of these bits now, while the backpack is. But generally speaking, the way things work around here in terms of this sort of thing, it's not really as much as a free-for-all as it has been today. You know, there's a certain requisition level that you guys have to meet, and that comes with completing cases. As I get authorization to release more equipment and more potions and more magical items to you from up above, then I'll be able to provide you with more stuff, but that requires a little bit of effort and commitment on your part. Also, if you're able to acquire any materials in the field which might help with that, then bring them to me, and that might also help. But this is all I can provide for now.
Very well.
You're going to have to rely on yourselves for this one, I think. That's the impression I got anyway.
Cool. Thank you.
No worries. And hey, listen, it's been lovely meeting you all. You're all very interesting people.
Sure.
So are you.
Thanks. Cheers. I'm thinking about writing a book, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Lots of inspiration going around the room.
2 bulls locking a horn as the sunset drops. The farmer's field, the battleground. It's more of a metaphor, but might inspire you for a deeper, long-lasting story.
Oh, were you talking to me? Sorry.
Was I talking?
Anyway, and Arthur will just leave the room.
Yeah, you guys, Arthur especially, you are starting to notice that Ban doesn't really end conversations. He finishes what he's saying and then just waits to see if anyone's going to talk back, and then sometimes he doesn't listen to what they say back.
Yeah.
Self-insert?
Fuck you.
Oh dear.
All of these characters are self-inserts. That's what you,
I
you
know.
must start realizing. They are all me. Okay. So yeah, you
Speaking
guys,
of, I wanted to visit Quill.
yes. You while these guys are picking up their acquisitions, you haven't really requested anything, so you go over to Quill. Oh, hey, Mr. Marcus, how are you?
Good, Quill. How are you doing?
Should I call you Mr. Marcus or Mr. Slow-Morn? Or I don't know. Some of these guys are really specific about what I call them, you know. Some of them don't like talking about it a lot. Like, you know, what do you want me to call you? Agent Soulmorn? That's kind of cool. Is that what they used to call you back at Argent Star?
No, not really.
Okay, well, if you got something better, I don't mind. You know, I can always remember these things.
You can call me whatever you want.
Marcus.
Well, yeah. that's
First
fine.
name terms.
Yeah, first name terms. Sure.
That's so cool.
And is Quill your first name, last name?
Quill is my designation in this department.
Oh, right. Right.
Yeah, you know, we've all got kind of cool names that they're more objects or places than they are names, you know. I thought it was really cool. I actually chose Quill because I don't actually use many writing utensils. Most of it is, you know, arcane transcribing and things like that. And so I don't have to use writing.
I don't use much.
Still a
either,
cool
to be fair.
name, though. Cool name, huh? Quill.
Yeah.
I think it suits me
Yeah.
as well. But no,
Yeah,
I'm not allowed to tell you my real name.
No, that's fair. That's fine. So Quill, I need a couple of things.
Sure. What do you need?
Well, we just got a briefing, and I know that you have probably have more information than the rest of us do.
Well, actually, I was telling your friends, actually, our archives here are kind of rudimentary right now. What I'm really hoping to do is I was actually hoping to talk to you a little bit as well, mostly Arturius, but he was really busy earlier. But I'm trying to build things up a little bit. We got kind of like basic city records and kind of things, criminal databases, that kind of stuff, some information about local gangs and stuff. But, you know, if there's something that I can help, yeah.
Okay. Well, how about when we finish this case, unless something comes up really quickly afterwards, we can have an evening and just see what we can scramble together, right?
That would be so awesome. I would love to do that. We can. I mean, I'm ready right now if you want to. I mean, I've just finished archiving some city plans for blueprints of various buildings around the Grand Market. So.
Oh, that's perfect. Actually.
Yeah, we have that kind of stuff too. It's mostly kind of the stuff that's already on public record, so it's just kind of a little bit of a shorter process to come to me than it is to go to City Hall. But
do you have anything around Shell Street, Cobblebank? Do you have anything around the Obscuratorium?
The Obscuratorium, we do not have anything to do with that. The Obscuratorium is a really weird place. It's almost kind of like the house, really. It's like they have various things in place to make sure that it's difficult to navigate and the people who aren't familiar with it aren't really able to find what they're looking for. That's why it's so surprising that this thing happened. I just got finished.
I'm thinking mainly about the outside, not the inside of it. But
sure. I mean, it's a really big. Have you never been there? The Obscuratoriums. It's like a really looming place. Like it's kind of intimidating to be honest.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really big place. I can maybe look at some local maps of the Crystal Plaza. That might give you a kind of outline of the sort of, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking surrounding area.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe stretch it to half a mile, something like that.
Okay, sure. Well, I mean, the Obscuratorium is kind of on the eastern side of the Crystal Plaza, kind of on the border of the Grand Market. So it's kind of close to there. So I can get some rough maps of that area. You said you need Cobblebank as well, right?
Yeah, Cobblebank.
So Cobblebank's a weird one because, like, a lot of the maps I have of Cobblebank are a lot more like historical maps. Does that make sense? Because you know, Cobblebank actually used to be sort of quite a affluent part of the city before the Great Expansion. So but since then it's kind of fallen into disrepair. So I'm not sure some of the maps we have right now will be completely accurate to the architecture and structures which have been put up in the place of the ruins as things have kind of crumbled there a little bit. But I can see what I can find. Sure.
Cool. Another thing, what do you know about explosives where one could acquire things like gunpowder, stuff of that kind?
Well, I mean,
it's highly regulated from what I remember. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've probably got some information about like licensing databases that I can see. Like I said, a lot of the stuff I've got is more public information right now. But I think, you know, licenses for that kind of for those kind of materials might be found. But there's got to be, you know, thousands of people who have licenses for those kind of materials around the whole city. I mean, if you've got something that can maybe narrow it down, then maybe I can check licenses and recently given licenses and recently applied for licenses, things like that. That might help you out, but it kind of need a little bit more specific. Otherwise, I'll just be giving you a massive file of everyone licensed for gunpowder and those kind of materials in the city. And, you know, I don't mind if we want to spend, you know, like a weekend together and go through that kind of stuff. We can talk while we do it. You know, I'm sure there's lots of...
I read quite quickly.
Oh, that's cool. So do I. Do you want to have a race?
You can have a race.
Right now?
Sure.
Cool. Right. You guys. So what? Licensing. His little motorized stool that he sits on and moves around the room on immediately goes, psh, and like you hear this hydraulic, and it shoots up into the air about 7 feet, and he's now.
As soon as it does, I want to have a look at his desk. I want to see if there are any files of us.
Of you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Given that you're just sort of looking and you're not are you rifling through, or are you just seeing what?
Depending on how busy does he seem, how excited is he at this race?
He's very excited. He's very much sort of really, pumped up for this little race that you guys are
Right.
about to have. But he seems to know what he's going for. He doesn't seem to be
Okay.
scrambling.
In
with
that
it.
case, I'm just gonna have a quick glance.
Sure thing. So make a perception check for me, please.
Oh, fuck me. That's not good. That is 12.
12. You do see that there are a couple of sort of yellow binders on his desk. There's various scrolls, some of them rolled up, some of them opened. The ones that are opened are mostly sort of blueprints of, some parts of the Silver Canal and various sort of like government buildings, like town halls and stuff like that.
Okay.
Some sewage system blueprints and things like that. But you don't spot. You do see these 2 files, but they're obscured by all the other stuff on the table.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Cool.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, let's do these 2. So this is a brief history of the Valvarok Castle, and I've got another copy of here. I was just making another copy. So okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Yep.
Make an intelligence check for me.
Intelligence check. Yeah, sure thing. Here's a question. Is this something that I would have advantage on because of my keen mind feat?
Does Keen Mind give you the ability to speed read?
No, it just lets me remember stuff from that I've seen or heard within the last month.
Then this is not going to give you advantage, unfortunately. Because you are brute force speed reading as quickly as you can.
That is fine. General intelligence.
Straight intelligence.
Okay, cool. 21.
Okay. There's a moment of sort of silence, and you hear Quiller's going, and it was called and a split second. How do you announce when you're finished?
I'm just gonna put the paper over his paper.
And he goes, "Da!" Just as you put it over, and you catch his eye. Wow, you are fast. You must have practiced a lot. I used to practice this all day.
Somehow, it's always kind of just come to me. I used to sit and read my parents' papers loads of times. I know things that I should not know.
Well, you must have a quick eye for detail, for sure.
I've heard that.
The information that you're able to glean from this is a sort of a brief history of Valvarok and how it was built, and why it was built, and who built it. The old King Isambard, the Rat King from the Age of Old Kings, built Valvarok after extracting lots of silver from what is now the Rat Downs. But you gain some information about that.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I mean, but if you want me to sort of kind of dig some of that stuff out, if you can narrow things down a little bit, that'll make it a whole lot easier. Then I can probably get you something in, like, I don't know, a day.
Yeah, I'll try and do that.
Hey, I wanted to ask you something.
Yeah, go on.
What kind of term? I mean, I know I've read parts of your file, but I know you're not on the best of terms with some of your previous colleagues. Do you think you could gain us access to the Argent Star database? Or at least be able to bring us some of those files in case we need something? I have something that might be able to connect us in.
Maybe.
We'll go. You guys are busy. You guys are real busy. It's not really my job to be setting you guys task. I'll speak to the regent. Maybe he can ask you guys to help. It's not really my job to ask you guys to do anything. It's your job to ask me to do stuff.
Well,
but at the same time, if you can do stuff like that, then...
I usually saw the Argent Star as part of my family, so I guess this is a new one. Although it's a bit scattered currently, but I guess we will warm up to each other.
I mean, if you've still got anyone on the inside, they might be able to help as well. But if I have a certain item that if we're able to get that into their archives, then we'll have access to all of their information. I've been developing it alongside Bandolier. It's kind of like a little bug that we can put into their system and grants us access to their records.
Okay,
it's really cool. I'll show you it sometime, but not now. You guys have got work to do.
Yeah, we have stuff to do. Yeah, But okay, I'll see what I can find if I can narrow stuff down. Speaking of Argenstar, though, you wouldn't happen to know who's working the case?
Working the Obscuratorium heist?
Yeah.
I don't. If I had access to the Argenstar database and their records, I'd probably know more. But I just don't have access to that kind of thing right now. Plus, it only happened this morning, and I've not left here in several days.
Right.
Okay. Well, I'll see what I can find if I can scale something down.
He's not left here in several days. Oh no, Miss Dude. I'm gonna bring him a sandwich back.
He's having a great time. You know, he's getting fed. It's not like wasting away. And if you can get me some water as well.
It's not chained to that stool.
yeah, he's here by choice.
Right. Well,
looks like we both got things to work on then.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I'm
see
actually
you around.
doing
Quill.
something for you. No, I'm not doing anything. I mean, I'm busy.
Inside check.
Sure, make an inside check.
Question: how long has he been in that room talking to Quill?
4 days.
10 minutes. You guys
10
have
minutes,
you guys have been donning your stuff and
Okay.
getting your bits situated. So it's only been about 10 minutes.
That's a natural 18 for 21.
Okay. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
That wasn't natural. I mean, you're not able to determine much more than he's clearly misspoke briefly there.
So you're busy?
Well, yeah, I'm just busy with, other stuff.
Okay.
But when you have the information that we need to sort of narrow things down, or if you need plans for specific places, let me know, and that'll really help. But I've got some other stuff I need to do right now.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
For the Regent.
For the Regent.
Really important stuff. He gets really pissy if I don't do things quickly.
Okay. Maybe I'll go and ask him and see if he can. Maybe I can help. He can grant me access so I can help him.
No, don't worry about that. He doesn't like to be disturbed about that kind of thing. He'll pass on information when it's needed, or he'll send you to me. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'll start looking into that thing.
Okay. Cool.
See you later, Marcus.
See you later, Quill.
Awesome. You step out to see all your friends donning their, or your colleagues donning their gear, putting away their potions, handing out the potions. Where are the 2 potions going, by the way? I want to have a note of that.
In my bag.
You've got both.
Yes.
Cool.
I asked them. I'm taking them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys look spiffy.
Thanks. Okay, look, we've got a few things that we need to break down. I think it's important that we first kind of get to know each other and what our strengths are.
Right.
Should we go back down to the briefing room?
Yeah, it kind of feels weird doing this in a corridor, yeah.
I mean, we should probably go to the 5th floor. There's dormitories there. Less eyes and ears around and people who we don't know yet.
So you're paranoid. That's your thing.
I mean, there's. I'm a very multi-layered individual. There's more to me than just paranoia. But yeah, I do have. I don't want to be watched by the powers that be.
No, that's fair. I'm not meaning anything bad about it. It's just that
Oh, it sounded bad.
Artorius, Arthur.
Yeah.
Mentioned strengths. I think it's probably good if we talk about potential risks or
yeah,
things
and look,
like that as well.
I kind of see it as less paranoid and more cautious, Artemis. It's endearing.
That is true. You keep your guard up is always a good thing.
That's the second time I've heard that today. Are we all guarded people? Is this what we're like?
Probably
I
for the
think when
best.
you work in the public sector, you are. Never mind. Most of the time, when you work in the public sector, you tend to be quite guarded because people are on your ass.
Yeah.
So
So
I have a little ass to be on, so. And she just starts to walk off up towards the dormitories where she presumes you now are following.
So,
Sure, you get up to the dormitories, and it's sort of like you get to the top floor, the 5th floor, and you walk out, and it's very much almost like a loft conversion kind of thing. There are skylights, wood paneling along the walls. There are about 10 sort of cot beds. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like camping cot beds, which are very much just like a piece of fabric suspended between bars. A bunch of those, some chests below. It's very much a barracks kind of situation, a dormitory that you would expect.
Did you say that it has skylights?
Yeah, there's a couple of skylights. They are barred. Lazareth and Cran are in there. Cran is snoring very loudly. Lazareth is just bouncing a ball, lying on the cot, bouncing a ball off the wall and catching it. The whiskey bottle is half empty next to them.
Back down again.
Oh, hey, you need something?
Yeah, I think we do, actually. This job that we're on, approximately 3 a.m., you know, the job. I believe that there were some witnesses to an event that happened at 3 o'clock this morning. Thievery from the Obscuratorium.
Okay.
I'd like you to get out there and see if you can find some of these witnesses.
Okay, I didn't think I was going to be doing any field work today. All right, I'm fine. Throws the ball that they were throwing against the wall at Cran. Cran, get your ass up. We got work to do. Whoa, what are we doing? You want me to break someone's neck?
No, absolutely not.
Oh.
You can break some
No.
bread with some witnesses. Find out what they
Simply
saw.
might have misjudged.
Oh, it's okay. We got it. Simple information gathering.
Yep, thank
No
you.
problem. We can handle that. What do you want to know?
As much information as you can. What they saw, what they heard, descriptions
What
of the
people look like.
individuals.
Public witnesses?
That'd be best. Try not to be intimidating. These people have been through a lot already.
Cran, you can go back to sleep. She
Well,
stands up.
I don't know about
I'll
that.
handle this.
Maybe, Cran, you might be able to ruffle some feathers if they're not willing to give you the information. The information is key to this investigation. Probably best you both go.
Apologies to you. I thought you were after a soft touch. Cran, come on. Don't worry, we won't stir too many pots. We're good at that.
Thank you both. And I'll wait on purpose until I know that they're far enough down the stairs and they're gone. Yeah.
Where are we going? Crystal Plaza. No, I don't like the Crystal Plaza. She ain't gonna hurt you, buddy. Come on.
As they were waiting to exit and go far enough away, I'm going to fly up to one of the skylights.
Okay.
Can I see if the building that we're in goes up further than we... If this is the roof, or is there's another floor slightly
Thank
off
you.
to the side?
Make a perception check.
Okay.
So it's a peaked. It's quite a shallow peaked roof.
Yeah.
There's a skylight, 2 skylights on either side, so you're able to get both sides of the building.
Perception. Okay, that is a 19.
Nothing but grey sky. You can see the edges of a few adjacent buildings, but you appear to be on the top floor.
Ooh, Houter's got some secrets.
Didn't they say there was a secret 6th floor?
I don't think it's a secret. They told us about it, but it's somewhere.
Well, okay, a floor we were not allowed to go on?
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't seem to be there.
It probably makes sense that they'd obscure it if we're not supposed to find it.
Fair.
We can look for staircases when we don't have missions to do.
As soon as I see that the dogs have left, I'll kind of just turn to the rest of the group and go, look, I apologize that I kind of stepped in there. They're probably not going to get as much information that we don't already know, but it's best that we have this conversation without prying ears. especially if we're getting to know each other, but all cards on the table. I don't know what the fuck this place is, who these people are, or why we're working for them, so the less they know about me, the better. The likelihood is they probably know more about me than I care to admit. But if we're to work together, then I think it's only fair that we kind of at least get to know each other a little bit and what our strengths are and where we can help each other, right?
Sounds like a good idea.
So
Where we're all coming from.
okay, so we're gonna you want to start then?
Yeah, sure. I'm a former detective from the Argent Star. Did some shit. Ended up here instead of getting fired because they wanted to save face. And that's about it. I guess being a detective, I'm good at crime scenes. I'm good at recalling history. I'm a quick reader. I also, in recent years, I've started to take the front lead when raiding.
Good to know. Good to know. Former Argent Star agent, eh? Must have your fingers in a couple of pies when you were an agent there. Must know at least a few individuals that might be able to help us out with this particular case.
Let's just say I didn't leave on good terms with any of them.
Okay. What about you, Artemis?
Oh, me? Okay. So I'm Artemis, as you know. Hello, everyone. I am a former agent for the Ministry of Seals. We dealt with extraplanar activity and the crossing of voids into our world, the breaking of boundaries between realms, and the containment and stopping of that. My specialty now is communication, I suppose you could say. I don't talk, I listen to minds. I can hear thoughts, and I can, if you interrogate someone, I can be behind you listening to them, making sure that their thoughts match their words, and if they don't and you don't care, I can push deeper in and find out stuff from them. I can also control minds a little bit, so I am telepathic and psionic is what they call me.
Good.
Point of note. Marcus, Lumiel, Jax. Never heard of the Ministry of Seals before.
Yeah.
Arturius, as a former member of the Crown Service in some regard, you have experienced this department before in certain activities that have gone on, certain suspicious activities. A department has been brought in to deal with some of the stuff that you've witnessed pertaining to what Artemis has, but you never had a name put to them.
Yep. Okay.
So for the three of you, you guys have never heard of this before, but Arturius, you're kind of saying, that must be who those guys were in your head, kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Good to know, especially if we're going to be interrogating folk, which I assume some of this case at least will be. Good to know that we've got somebody that can at least see into minds.
Sorry, Ministry of Seals.
Oh, yeah, it's...
I'm not familiar with that one.
No, I don't imagine many people will be. It's, well, it's off the record. It's kind of like this place, but it's, there's
Like
a lot of
magic-y stuff?
More dimensional-based, realm-based breaches of one realm crossing into another, or the things that may come from that, or the beings. The Fae, the Wilds, the other kinds of dimensions, fire, air, all that. There's planes, there's realms. Other planes of existence, other planes of activity. Sometimes those barriers get weak, sometimes they cross over, and we are there to, do our thing and stop it. Or at least help.
Fuck me, that's a headache.
Oh, it's terrible, but I get by.
Good. And you? War diver or something, right?
Yeah. I would have deployed a Lumina for a good while.
Illumina.
Yeah.
Some nasty battles out there, I heard.
Yeah. But came back, didn't agree with the decisions that were made.
Backpack's just going to get his pants on.
The stone face of house animates goes, pardon me. There is a stone face of house in this room. by the way.
Yeah, got back, 6 or so months ago. I was born here originally, but long range, firearm expert, tinker in my spare time as well, and
Good.
oh, also it's not a problem if I'm high up.
I don't know what that means, but that sounds crazy. But being from the city,
like Bandolier?
No, like
a different kind of high, right?
an actual height.
Yeah.
Either
Okay.
or.
Good. Okay, so because you're from here, you must know a lot about the city. So if these individuals are looking to make a quick break in a couple of days, you might know a few places that they might be able to get out of the city unseen, right?
I mean, potentially. It's not really something I've looked into,
Okay.
Okay,
That's fair. And what about you? As he kind of looks towards Lumiel.
Okay, so I've been in the city for a long time. I used to work for the ACR?
ACR?
Oh, ACR. I was an ACR agent. I mainly, I left out. I was forced out. Okay. I took something I shouldn't have, and I like magic items. I think they're fascinating. I think they're all sorts of wonderful.
Okay, you like them enough to steal them?
No. Steal, that's a strong word.
Okay, do you like taking magical items that don't originally belong to you?
Oh, that's a yes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, well, do me a
No.
favor. If you see any shiny magical items that catch your eye, don't put your hand on them near me.
I don't steal magical items.
Oh.
I like to look at them, and sometimes they find themselves in other owners' hands. I'm a relocator.
Right. Okay.
But I am really good at being sneaky.
Yeah. Good.
And I'm really good at finding out about items, and what they do.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then you might be able to find out what items were used with this tunneling, right? If they've shifted this much amount of hard earth without magical items, that's going to take a long time, and somebody will have noticed. I would imagine that.
Possibly.
But at the same time, they have said that no trace of magic was discovered at the scene, right? But,
I also do know some people. I'm very friendly, as you might have noticed. So I like to talk to people, and I like to let people talk to me. And I know a lot of people. One of them I'm actually slightly concerned about, as they do work for the... I can't pronounce that, Chris.
Curatorium?
They work at the Curatorium.
Nullifactors.
Yes. She's a friend, and I hope that she's okay.
Oh, do you know where she lives?
Yes.
Could be
Not too
lead.
far from here, actually. But she should be at work, so...
Well, it's definitely a lead that might be worth stopping by. They might have some valuable information. Look, my name's Artorius, Arthur. You can call me Arthur, that's fine. Former Crown Service. Whole lot of history before that. Don't really want to go into. What time is it? Do any of you guys have the time?
What time is it, Tim?
Pretty much just hit 4 p.m.
4 p.m.
No shit, I'm late.
And I'm not even. Marcus is not even looking at the clock. He's looking out at the skylight.
Okay. Arthur just says, "Fuck, I'm late." I'll do what I can.
You have somewhere to be?
Yeah. I'll catch you guys in a bit. And he just turns and just walks out of the room and leaves.
That's weird, right?
That was weird.
Like, I know I could be all.
Yes.
They're gone.
Sorry, as you're leaving,
Mm-hmm.
you guys distributed your tails.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're leaving, you sort of go to and you hold it up to them to sort of show you'll be in touch, or you can be in touch if you need and stuff like that. Are you equipping it? Are you guys?
Yeah. I'll equip mine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you hook the pin over your ear, and the little sort of skeleton skull immediately goes and like attaches along your neck to the base of your neck. It doesn't dig into the skin, but you can feel it kind of grip. And then the rest of you, as you see this, as it sort of grips onto the back of the neck, these little sort of tiny little spines, it fades and disappears.
Sick. And then, Artorius will make his way all the way down to the lower level of House, ask House to leave, and head off into the city.
Good day, sir. Be careful out there. You're welcome at the house anytime.
Thank you, House.
No problem.
And I'll head off into the city.
Cool. Off you go. The rest of you are in the dorms of the 5th floor, the top floor of the house.
And he's just bugging off again.
Where do we start?
I don't know. The guy with the plan seems to have just left for some reason.
No, he's one part of the team making the plan. He's clearly got his own things to do. Right. Ideally, we need to identify who ended up being murdered, who were the casualties of the 3 a.m. attack. So we need someone on that. We need further information about the crime scene itself, and ideally, direct eyes from a large distance on the safe house.
I think I can fix the last one.
I also can fix the last one.
I can help with the last one if needed, but I
We
think I'd
do
be
not need
better.
3 people on that.
I think I would be better at the obscurium. I've been there before. I've been in the lobby before, so it wouldn't look weird that I'm there, checking in on a friend. So they might know again what people look like, that sort of thing. If I can, I think I'd be least suspicious just turning up.
So here's also a thing. Everybody in your divisions know that you've been sacked, or
I don't know how widespread
otherwise.
The knowledge is. My boss certainly knows, but I mean, I doubt that he would have, shouted it around the office. But it's possible. I don't know.
Right. Okay. I'm just thinking, we're in a grey area here, right? We are not within the sort of eyes of the law, really, but we're also not completely out of it. So we need to tread that line quite carefully.
Yeah, don't tell people who we work for, because to be fair, we don't know. So that should be easy.
Yeah, but it's also, are we just civilians, or are we not?
Well, they said these things, and she holds up her tails. Can turn into badges and stuff. So I mean, we can. I think I go as me, just checking in on a friend, rather than trying to be I'm from the agency or whatever,
Yeah, as you hold up your tactical arcane liaison extension, you see sort of on the on the back end, sort of the back of the bit that clips over the ear as you pull it off, there is like a little thing which has like a little switch almost, which has 5 different settings.
Okay.
And it's currently in the top setting.
I'll move it to the second setting, see what it does.
It goes like clockwork, reorganizes itself. The little tail kind of wraps around and it mechanically turns into an Argent Star badge, which is literally just a silver, almost like a old Western sheriff star. Like,
Love
Very
that.
cool. See? I mean, we could be whatever agency we want to be, at least on face. I mean,
you click it again and it turns into the symbol of the Monetari, who are the actual magical law enforcement rather than the anti-magical law enforcement. You recognize it because you've worked with a lot of Monetari in your work. Click it again. It's a Custelia's badge, which is a simple shield with a V on it. And then the final one is a circular embossed symbol, which Artemis you recognize to be a Crown Service badge. Those are your options.
Right.
Well,
So
I don't know. I work better with people as opposed to myself. I'm not really a singular field agent. Never was. So
you can come with me if they're gonna go and be high. And she does give you a wink.
he
We
looks
can,
like he didn't understand.
No, Jax is so I give Jax a wink. And
No.
we can go to the Obscurium together. So 2 groups of 2. I don't know when I'm gonna call him Artie. I don't know when Artie's gonna be back. But
I like that.
people never like my nicknames. It's fine. He's typing. Kill that one first. No. So yeah, we can stick together, 2 groups of 2, and he can join whichever group he finds whenever he turns back up again.
So do you need me to read some minds for you, or?
That might be useful, actually. Just so certainly if we're walking through and you hear people going, "Ooh, who are they? They shouldn't be here," blah, 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 then maybe we can dip or whatever. But yeah, that should be helpful.
Okay, I can be helpful. I can do that, so that's fine. Yeah.
You hear Artemis hears a voice in his head, and it's the best imitation that Lumiel can do of Artemis' voice. And I've got this. I can do this.
You genuinely hear back in your head, "We shouldn't be talking. Stop doing that. I told you shouldn't talk to me."
Why?
Because you're not there anymore, Artemis. You're somewhere else. So stop it and leave me alone, please.
is it weird that they're talking to each or just staring at each other? Or is that just me?
Oh, I do that all the time. I'm sorry. It's just,
I was waiting for you guys to say what you were doing.
As I'm on my way to my destination, I'd like to use Tail to communicate to the rest of them and go, hey, guys, if people are moving a lot of heavy like rubble and shit around the city, I might have somebody that might be able to pinpoint who those people were and who's hired the carts to do it, so I'll check back in later.
That's a great idea, Artie.
Oh fuck, I forgot about that.
I literally...
What did he say?
I'm going to say this once, never ever fucking call me that again.
Sure.
oh, he goes dead.
Unplugs the flail. Artie. Okay, so are you guys happy that you've established a plan of action? Is there anything that Jackson, Marcus wanted to discuss about there?
It's something I can kind of do solo, but I need to swing by my place and pick up something first.
Oh, you're thinking actually going there on the spot yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, I have people for that.
Oh.
You realize I'm coming off as an arsehole? I'm not meaning to come off as an arsehole, okay? What I'm just saying is that if we are gonna do this within 48 hours, we probably need all hands on deck, and it's better to use other people than ourselves.
Right.
I
Are you
didn't
still
mean
in
to
the
sound
Are we
like an
still in the
arsehole.
same room?
I'm digging myself a grave. If
No,
you want to go for it, go for it.
No point if you've got people.
Fuck me. Okay.
I might just go
Yeah.
home then.
Do you have lots of people? I don't have friends, so.
I don't have friends either, as you can probably clearly can tell.
No?
Alright.
Right, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
It's
Start
okay.
over. What was your plan, Jax?
No, to be fair, got an idea. I can look more into if Arthur's looking at moving the rubble, I can look into the explosives side of things.
Smart.
So are we gonna meet up somewhere later, or is this? Do we just go home after, or what do we do? Like, I don't know how this works.
Play it by ear.
I don't wanna put it in.
Nice. Very nice. You may have inspiration, Hannah.
Yeah, genuinely see Artemis sort of looking at the little legs on this thing. It's like, I can feel it. It's going to be on the back of my neck always. Okay, let's just put it on. And you can sort of see him like crumple up again as the little legs go up his back. And
You clip it over your ear, and it kind of strays around a little bit, moves onto one side, moves to the top, and then searches around, and then eventually it finds a spot, latches on, goes away. You do feel almost like a tingling static, almost like your body's and mind is trying to reject it a little bit. But
just feeling it, does it feel psionic in nature? Does it feel like there is psionic things to it, like it's familiar to things I've done before?
Make an Arcana check for me.
Arcana. Oh, good. 21.
21. You do not get a sense that it is psionically probing you in any way. You are not able to really sense the kind of... It's definitely using some kind of magic. You suspect it's probably the same kind of magic that most other communication
Dan,
things use.
just quickly, sorry, I think your mic switched. Yeah, you. We can hear.
No, I don't think it is.
everything.
It's just the sound gate on his mic. It's picking up breathing. It's picking up
fine.
absolutely everything.
Let's continue. I'm sure it's fine on the screen.
Yeah, it is.
So you're not able to pick up that any sort of like that it's psionically going into your mind or reading any of your thoughts or anything like that. You do feel a slight static as it begins to sort of try and get into your sort of like mind way a little bit, but it doesn't seem to be probing or anything like that. You determine that it's probably some kind of divination or something like that it runs on.
Just checking.
Yeah, no, you don't feel too... Now that you've got it on, you sort of feel a little bit of a sense of relief that it's not,
Yeah.
it's not trying to get in there.
Ugh.
It's
Tiny
nothing good
legs
in
all
there.
over my neck. Ugh. So what are we doing? Sorry, I'm going with you, right, Lumiel?
Yep.
To
Me and you, we are going to the Obscurium. You're going to look for explosives or the people who do explosives or whatever. And I'm going to call you Big M. Big M, where were you doing?
Well, I'll see if we can have some people looking at the safe house, and then I guess I'll see if I have any friends back at the Argent Star.
Looking for friends. Okay. And are we coming back here? Oh, we're playing it by ear. Okay, so we'll let you know if we find out anything.
Right.
Cool. You guys all begin to leave the house. You head out onto the streets of East Arches. It's beginning to approach the evening now. The sun is low in the sky, but the sky is grey. So it's, there's a dull light still around. You're sort of in the southeastern part of East Arches. You guys are going to the Crystal Plaza and the Obscuratorium?
Obscuratorium, yeah.
Cool, yep. And Jax, where are you headed?
I am gonna pop home first.
Okay, cool. And Marcus, where are you going first? Because you had a couple of things you wanted to take care of.
I'm gonna start heading towards the Argent Star headquarters.
Cool. Okay, so you start. So you start heading towards the Argent Star HQ. Okay, we'll go first to Artemis and Lumiel. It takes you from where you are in East Arches. It takes you up through East Arches, along the Goodberry Road, along the main thoroughfare, through Grand Market until you reach the outskirts of the Crystal Plaza. Now, you know the Crystal Plaza to be, as everyone knows the Crystal Plaza to be, the housing area of the Nethel Shard, which is the sky shard of Aerilon, this enormous, multicolored crystal with various other outcroppings, very sharp and angular. It floats in the center of the plaza. Off to one side is the Obscuratorium. The Obscuratorium is a very interesting looking building. It is vast for a start. It's massive. The main part of it is almost just like a sphere. But a large portion of the sphere, almost as if you took an ice cream scoop to a ball and scooped out another large sphere from the sphere. Does that make sense? Like you subtract the spheres from the sphere to make a kind of indentation. And within this indentation in this vast sphere is almost a cathedral, Gothic-like looking building. So it's a big contrast between most of this spherical, very smooth structure and this very Gothic with buttresses and things that sits at the top of a large staircase, top of a large marble staircase leading up to it. Make a perception check for me, just as you approach, both of you.
Perception. Okay. 13.
26. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Artemis, there is a strange feeling in the Crystal Plaza that you felt before since you've come back and you've been going through your predicament. Makes you very very uncomfortable being in the Crystal Plaza. You don't know why, but it's something doesn't feel right about it. It's almost as if there is a static in the air within the Crystal Plaza surrounding the Nethel Shard. Lumiel, you do see the Obscuratorium. You do see there is a fair crowd gathered outside, more than you would usually see. Lumiel, there is a perimeter of Castiliers with barriers, only probably about 20 of them, but it's a very large facade, so they're stretched over a good sort of 200 feet, closing off the area in front of the Obscuratorium. Behind them, further up the stairs, there are probably about 5 Crown Service agents, and there are some Argent Star agents who are identifiable by their silver star badge, who are sort of either amongst the crowd or looking along the steps along a particular route along the right-hand side of the staircase. But yeah, it looks like an active crime scene investigation is taking place where several agencies are involved. And it looks like most of the investigation is centered on the doorway of the Obscuratorium and on the right side of this large staircase.
Okay. Does it look like... Do I know that is the only way in and out?
It's the only way... it's the only way you know of.
Right. Okay. This might not be as easy as I thought.
As you are beginning to approach a little bit more, you do spot off to one side a couple of familiar faces. You
Okay.
just sort of talking to a couple of people, but people who are kind of walking and like answering questions, but as if they're kind of in a hurry to get somewhere else. You see Cran and Lizaleth trying to gather some information. They don't spot you just yet. But yeah, you start approaching this scene, this fairly crowded scene towards the outer perimeter.
Okay, if you just wait 2 seconds, I'm just going to see if I can spot someone.
Sure. You know what I look like.
It's hard to miss. As I fly up to try and get a bit of an aerial view, can I spot my friend or not? Actually, any of them.
Make a perception check for me, please.
Okay.
Were you thinking the same thing that I was thinking, Han? It's hard to miss. Hard to miss.
That's so good. True.
That's,
I saw your reaction. I was like, yeah.
23.
23. Okay. I neglected to mention at the start, there is also a kind of, whereas the rest of, apart from like the Castilias who are fairly evenly spaced, but they're kind of moving around, sort of pushing people back and stopping people from getting too close over the barriers, but very uniformly placed on every third step, all the way up this staircase. There's probably about 40 steps, or maybe 30 steps. So there's about 10 on each side of this large staircase. Null-Effectus agents. Null-Effectus are very distinct in their attire and their general aura. They are upright, plain-faced. Many of them are bald. They all are very plain and unemotive and standing up very straight. They wear these grey and red robes which cover their whole body and their shoulders. Many of them keep their arms within the robe, so they're just a robe and a head. And they are sort of standing there just at guard in case anything kicks off, as they usually. This is how you usually see Null-Effectus agents, unless they're actively doing a job in the field. They just sort of stand posted, almost like statues. A lot of people find them quite unnerving, so they're usually only called out to situations that they're required in, because they do have quite an unnerving presence, almost spooky. But amongst them, as you sort of look up the left-hand side and you look up the right-hand side towards the right, towards the door, you see one Null-Effectus agent with a flash of dark auburn hair, standing at guard, more sort of like looking a little bit more, and every now and then sort of like leaning in to like say something to the Null-Effectus agent a few steps down, who sort of just stay stoic in their presence. They seem like they're getting a bit bored, quite uncharacteristically fidgety for a Null-Effectus agent. This is Alara Voss, your friend.
Oh yeah,
You see them
right.
there.
I thought she had a different name, but I was thinking of someone else. Yes. I'm going to send. Am I within? It's within range, isn't it? What's the range on that? Is she within range of message?
It's 120 feet, right?
It
Sorry,
is
I've already
120
tried
feet.
to-
Yes.
You would be just on the edge.
Okay.
Just.
So
You're keeping back a little bit, trying not to sort of enter this perimeter that's been
Yeah.
set up and cause too much disturbance. You're not flying. Are you flying quite high, or are you just sort of getting above the crowd to see? Like?
I'm getting above the crowd. I'm not like just floating 60, 70 feet in the air because that's suspicious as hell.
You do also notice with that check that the moment you sort of rise above the crowd, there are a couple of Castilias who sort of turn their gaze to you and wonder, but when they see you're not approaching any closer or trying to fly over the barrier, they just kind of ignore you, every now and then flashing a glance back to you. But you are
I
in
try
range.
to put on sort of like a looky-loo, sort of just like I'm just one of the commoners just trying to rub a neck, you know.
Okay.
But I'm going to send her a message.
Go ahead.
Hi, it's Lumi. I just heard what's going on. Are you okay?
Lumi, where are you?
And I kind of just I send like little ball of light just hovers up a little bit and then goes out.
Okay. They sort of, she looks over and then goes back and she says,
Yeah.
"Well, I haven't heard from you in a week. I wonder where you'd been."
Oh yeah. I was being naughty again. It's okay. It's sorted now. I'm fine.
Well,
I
make
heard-
sure you let Rysel and Ali know because they're really worried about you.
Yes, they are my next stop. Definitely. I think I owe them money. It's fine.
I get off shift in about an hour and a half if you wanted to go for a drink or something.
That's perfect. I want you to meet my friend. He's a little bit jittery, but he's fine. He's a friend. So, yes, the goblin?
Yes. We can go for a drink with them for sure. I think I've
will-
met them.
Who?
Your goblin friend.
No. Silly. I meant we go for the drink at the goblin.
Oh, yes, sorry. It's been a long day. They extended my shift. There's been a little bit of trouble at HQ.
I heard someone died, and I thought it might have been you, and I was worried.
You're sweet. No, I'm okay. It was
Okay.
mostly Crown Service who went down. I'm still not sure too much about what happened.
Well, if I know you, they don't like you all talky and stuff while you're on job, so I'll let you. I know it's boring, but I will see you after work, and I'll meet you at the goblin. And I'll introduce you to my friend. He's not a goblin.
Was there something you wanted to ask me? I mean, to be honest, I'm pretty bored standing here. I don't mind talking now, just try not to make it too obvious.
Okay, give me a second. I will message you again, and I float back down,
Mhm.
and I go over to Artemis. My friend's okay. She's fine. She's just up there. They're not really allowed to talk, but if we get a bit closer,
the floating heads? Yeah, I know they're not. They're weird, even by my standard.
that's not nice.
I mean, they all look the same. They all look like heads with capes. It's
My
creepy.
friend has hair. They don't.
Why
all
do you
look the
have?
same.
Yeah, you shouldn't have that. That's not. Yeah. Anyway, what's up?
So she said that we could go for a drink after work, and we can talk to her more then, or we can, if I just get a bit closer, we can. I know you can do the head thing too, so we can just have a conversation, and they won't know.
Yeah, but to do what I need to do, I need to be a lot closer to her. I can't
Oh.
read minds from that distance. I can talk telepathically from that distance, but I need to be close to their mind to get into the.
You don't
You
need to
know.
read her mind. I trust her. You don't need to read her mind.
Well, I'll do something else then. We don't need a 3-week. It's going to be a lot of messaging between. And he takes the thing off his head and sort of changes it to an Argent Star badge and places it somewhere sort of mildly. Because I can just go look around and see what I can see. And
They seem to be focusing on that side of the staircase.
yeah, I'm going to go get a vibe check. That's what my friends call it. I can go and I can get a lay of the land in the psychic domain. Okay?
Well, keep in touch. Be good. Be safe.
I'm always good. You're the one who's the criminal.
I'm not a criminal. I was
You-
never
you-
charged. And then she just goes off.
You were never charged, but you were thrown in jail for a week?
I was held. I was never charged. Okay.
I was arrested, but not convicted.
So yeah, I let him go off, and I kind of go into the crowd, so I'm a bit closer, but not conspicuously.
Sure, okay. Artemis will go with you first. So you're approaching as an Argent Star agent, is that correct?
So I'm going to keep. Yeah, so he's going to keep the badge on, but look like he's doing perimeter walks almost. So just kind of
You're not trying
keeping.
to go behind the barriers or anything.
I'm not trying to know. So you said there was a staircase leading up right?
So the barrier, this staircase, it's not so much a staircase. It's like the whole facade is like a staircase leading up. If you can imagine, like, like the fucking Lincoln Memorial in Washington D.C.
Okay, yeah.
You know how it's like the whole front of the building has a staircase, basically.
Oh, I see. Okay. So knowing, because they said this it had been tunneled into, so generally speaking, where did they say the tunnel was from again? It was an open tunnel, right?
All you know so far is that they tunneled into Vault 19, Containment Vault 19, and that no magic was used, but explosive were used in the final sort of breach. You don't know from where the tunnel originated from, though, yet.
Yeah, so I think Artemis, we are going to start trying to try and figure out where the actual tunnels start. So if it means going behind the barrier and just sort of acting as an Argent Star member and doing perimeter walks, because it's the whole building, right?
It's a very, very vast building. I want to just give you a clarification. There is no visible tunnel where you are. Like the entrance to the tunnel presumably is in the vault, and the origin of that tunnel is as yet unknown to you guys.
So they've never figured out where it came from. So it's not like someone dug in from the outside in. They've tunneled. There's no exit, essentially.
There's no exit around the perimeter of the thing. It looks like, judging by where people are investigating, these Argent Star agents, near the door and along the right-hand side of this very large staircase, it looks like this gang of thieves made their escape on foot, and they're looking for signs around that area. So they must have run out the front door and gone out the front way. Cool. So they didn't emerge from the tunnel to this area. The tunnel is within,
but the exit of that tunnel is yet unfound.
Unfound by you, or unidentified. It might have been found by the people investigating, but you don't know yet.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Okay. So I know what the null effects agents are doing. What does it look like the Argent Star agents are doing? How are they positioned? How are things working with them specifically?
There are 3 of them currently canvassing the crowd, trying to find witnesses. There are 2 of them sort of going up and down with magnifying glasses, looking at each stair, dusting for footprints, that kind of thing. There are 2 currently talking to a couple of null-effectus agents near the very front door. And the others are just kind of looking around for clues they might have missed. They're picking up bits of litter to see if it's of any significance and things like that. They're just casing the scene.
Yeah. Okay. So while Lumiere, the candlestick from the Beauty and the Beast, while they are in the sky,
Lumiere.
So while they're doing that, I think so. I'm going to use. Hold on, because I want to do it using this, so I don't make any noise. Okay. So I'm going to spend a single sorcery point to use psionic sorcery, which means that I can cast sorcerer's spells without verbal, somatic, or any kind of components. I can just cast them.
Okay.
I'm going to act as if I'm canvassing the crowd of people watching, but I'm going to use detect thoughts to try and pick out anyone who seems to have thoughts that may be of concern, or like that are out of the ordinary, of just people going, oh wow, this is weird, what's going on? Like any that seem to be more focused on, things like that, like someone who is watching to try and gain more knowledge because they have been part of it, as opposed to like they're just that kind of thing.
So you're trying to look for like a return to the scene of the crime type situation.
Yeah, someone who's like trying to spot or trying to get information, someone who is acting as a casual member.
Let Let me have you make, while you're doing this, just so that you to see how thoroughly you're scanning the crowd. Let me get an investigation check from you, please.
Okay, investigation.
Lumiel, you're heading just into the crowd. Are you doing anything there? Or are you just heading closer to speak with? Cool. I couldn't hear you. There we go.
I'm getting closer so I can speak more comfortably.
Okay, cool. We'll come to that then.
Yeah.
So that is a 17 for the investigation check.
17 for the investigation check. You spend a few, like about a good 10 minutes sort of walking amongst the crowd, every now and then sort of acknowledging someone and pretending to write things down, but you're really probing with your mind. The vast majority of people are surface level thoughts are very much, oh, what's going on here then? Oh, I've never seen anyone attack the null effectors before. It's strange that anyone would try and do crime in the Crystal Plaza. That's a death sentence, bloody hell. And like loads of just a lot of that, like curiosity, you know, but nothing that seems untoward or suspicious in any way. That pretty much covers the entire crowd gathered outside the perimeter. As you sort of make your way around, you do pick up some thoughts of some of the Castiliers who are mostly worried about when their shift is going to end, when they're wanting the Argent Star to hurry up with their jobs so that they can get off shift and get to the pub. You do pick up one or two Argent Star detectives as they're canvassing the crowd. One of them's saying, like, thinking to himself, no, that doesn't match the descriptions we've heard. Definitely no elves. No. Yeah, I mean, that could. There was a dwarf, so it could be something like that, but it was a male dwarf that they saw, so that's probably nothing to do with it. This person's just looking for attention. That's got nothing to do with that. They clearly didn't see anything. Another one you pick up is thinking to themselves, why are we wasting our time looking up here? Clearly all the evidence is down below, or at least anything we can find. I mean, we know they ran off towards the south, but what are they hoping to get? Oh, well, I suppose I better keep asking questions. Something might come up. That's all you're able to get without prying any deeper. But amongst the crowd, there does not appear to be any suspicious thoughts.
Okay. Looking...
Yeah, and the surface thoughts of the Argent Star agents are more just cross-referencing the things that they're hearing in their heads. But you do get some information from that.
Keeping, so sort of walking through the crowd, sort of not making his, while his appearance is odd, he tries to not make too much of a fuss of it, even though he's sort of the way he is, and with his kind of make sure the badge is seen, and every so often just sort of nod to one of them to sort of try and just keep up appearances.
Sure.
The barrier itself is that there's lots of guards. They're Crown's Guard, aren't they?
They are Castiliers. So there's the Custodes Populi, or cops, who are just the sort of general militia peacekeeping force. Castiliers are what you might consider like SWAT teams or crowd control officers, the ones who come out in big metal vans, those kind of guys. There's no big metal vans in this thing. No. Real world example.
No war cannons or no. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. They're the kind of, if you were to make a real world equivalent, they're the kind of police that you'd see with riot shields.
Yeah.
But they are sparsely stationed along this, and they're those sort of like freestanding barriers. So there's gaps between. There's mostly Castilians between those gaps, sort of stopping people from walking through. Every now and then they will allow an Argent Star agent through.
So
when identified.
Yeah. Every so often one goes through, they have to sort of identify that. Is it just sort of like a flash of the badge and then they're going through?
Make a perception check because you're looking out. Yeah, make a perception check because you're looking out for this while you're also canvassing the crowd. Mind canvassing. Perception, yeah.
Mind canvas, that's my TV show. It's just a 10.
A 10, you don't spot any. The ones you're sort of able to see over the crowd, they seem to exchange a few words, but mostly they're just flashing badges.
Yeah, cool. Going for one of the sort of open areas just to make his way through into the actual cordoned off area. If anyone looks his way, he will just sort of flash a badge and give the nod and just sort of not make too much of a fuss about it.
Okay, make a deception check with advantage.
Cool. Weirdly, I'm charismatic. Deception. Okay, cool. That's a natural 20 for a 24.
There you go. Yeah, no problem at all. They take
Nice.
one look at you. They take one look at you. They do double take just because you are a very individual. But they don't seem to be questioning your authority.
So kind of like
Even an Argent Star agent who's passing you as you enter, just kind of glances at you, doesn't pay attention.
So, like the other Argent Star agents who are sort of dusting, looking for things, Artemis is going to very much just sort of try and fall into that, where he seems to be inspecting stuff, just sort of like pulls out things, maybe a bit of parchment and a quill, and just starts writing stuff. And I want to start listening to the other agents, just to get surface level thoughts, see what I can hear. And just one thing I want to try and, if I know about this, the Null Effectus agents, do I know if they are trained in like sonic resistance, or have they had this, like, would they be aware if someone was, I know it's only surface level, but would they be able to pick it up? Knowing that
you remember some pretty surface level stuff about the Null Effectus. You know that they are specialists in anti-magic and magic barriering magic, preventing magic. Make an Arcana. Make a history check with disadvantage, please.
Will do. 7.
7. You don't know.
No, okay, that's fair.
Feasible.
So, yeah, not wanting to potentially stir a pot he can't get himself out of, I'm just going to do passes by Argent Star agents and some of the cops and just get a surface level from them, see if there's any information rattling around in heads that I can sort of start just putting together. I've got a stealth at the moment, so I want to see if there's any other sort of thoughts along those lines, or just what they've seen.
Yeah, okay. So you make your way past a few of them. One of them who seems to very much be surveying the crowd and taking notes. He's just sort of he's repeating to himself in his head. Air Genasi, dwarf, gnome, humans. Air Genasi, dwarf, gnome, humans. Air Genasi, dwarf, there's so many humans, so I don't know why they told me to look out for those, but can't see any Air Genasis. Is that a gnome? Oh, no, it's just a kid. Wait, is that a gnome? And you see he kind of nudges one of the Castiliers who's kind of walking up the stairs, points to someone, and he turns around and looks at him, and you see him exchange words, be like, that's clearly a kid. He's like, oh, sorry, fucking hell. They're just sort of on the lookout, looking for putting together clues and stuff like that. Their investigation seems to not be going too far. They've got some some descriptions of the people that fled, and they're kind of looking for signs of those people. Another one is sort of saying, these pretty heavy tracks here, followed by 3 sets of lighter tracks. I don't know where this where could they have shot from? It's quite tall buildings around here, so I suppose they could have shot from there. But then did they come in? Well, maybe we should check some of the surrounding roofs. And they're just kind of trying to figure things out, and they're trying to put some pieces together. As you're doing this, Lumiel, you reconnect with your friend Elaravos.
Hi again. Still here.
Hiya. It's really boring here.
Wow. Sounds like you've had an exciting day, at least.
Well, would have been if I took the late night shift last night, but maybe a little bit more exciting than I'd have hoped. Maybe I should be happy I'm having a boring day. But they've got us all posted here, making sure nothing else goes wrong.
So, I like a good story. Do you know anything about what happened last night?
Well, all they told me was that there was a break-in in Vault 19. Apparently someone tried to get away with a very dangerous and powerful artifact. I don't know what they keep down there, but it certainly got them in a stir.
I can imagine.
One of my colleagues did fall. I didn't know them personally, but apparently they were found torn in half.
What?
I know. It's amazing.
Like torn in half? Like
Yeah,
like by magic or by like beasts?
I don't know really. They're still down there. They're still investigating the crime scene.
Is your colleague still down there?
Apparently so. I didn't have the stomach to go and look myself.
Obviously, that's a very gruesome.
Yeah, and a few Crown Service agents were dead as well. In fact, one of the first signs of trouble was one of the Crown Service agents was shot through the eye by a bow twice. The same eye.
Oh, that must have been a very good shot. And obviously bad luck for the guard, but that's a skill to do that from.
If you're going to try and break into the vaults of the Obscuratorium, then you better have some skills, I suppose.
Is there any word on? Has anyone said that the ragtags did it, or
There was someone who apparently heard someone call something out as they were being chased.
Oh,
Apparently, a member of the public on their way, one of the lamplighters, on his way to work, tried to intercept the gang and was struck down. I'm guessing they thought they killed him because one of them said something to him. Something like, "Don't mess with the East Street Vipers."
East Street Vipers.
Or something like that.
DM, have I ever heard that term
Make
before?
a history check.
Okay. Oh, that's not as good as the other ones have been. That's 12.
The only thing you really know about gangs, there's a lot of organized crime and less organized crime in the city. East Street Vipers sounds quite theatrical.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of those kind of gangs around East Arches. In East Arches, there's the gang territory around there is very kind of, theatrical. And, a lot of gangs like to have little gimmicks around there to separate themselves from the crowds. No serious organized crime family or organization would call themselves the Vipers. So you guess it's probably an East Arches gang.
Okay. So they sound local.
Well, I mean, as local as you can be when you're in the Crystal Plaza. No one lives here.
That's true. Well,
Except us. Sometimes.
yeah, that's not creepy at all.
Hey, I don't
Sorry.
like when you do that. I'm trying.
I'm having a boring day too. Sorry, I met some people today and they've rubbed me up the wrong way a little bit. So I apologize if any of that has spilled out.
No problem. It's been the highlight of my day, getting to chat to you, to be honest. They've had me here for 4 hours now, just standing on the step, waiting for something to happen.
I genuinely don't know how you do it. Like, just standing still for 4 hours? It just sounds like hell.
Well, it's quite easy, actually. There's lots of things to look at.
Did you see anything interesting?
I've mostly been counting steps, to be honest with you. Which isn't much fun when there's only 34 of them. But I've done it a few times.
Okay. So, well, I should really find my friend. He seems to have disappeared somewhere. But
Oh, no, that's strange. I hope he didn't teleport. That's strictly forbidden in the Crystal Plaza.
oh, he definitely. I don't know if he can, but he definitely wouldn't have done that.
Well, if he's up to some kind of magical naughtiness, you definitely want to tell him not to when you're around here. He might upset the mistress.
And we don't want that.
Nobody wants that.
I kind of want
Okay.
that, but
Goblin
Sorry.
later?
Definitely. I will have your drink ready for you when you finally clock off.
Can't wait for a nice warm water.
Well, if it has to be warm.
Room
Yes.
temperature's fine.
Enjoy your step
sounds like-
counting.
Thanks. See you later.
Bye.
Out
As
of
you
all
bis-
the weird shit, the warm water is the worst one so far.
Artemis, you are currently sort of roaming around behind the barrier. If you keep this up for much longer, people are going to start paying attention. So what are you doing?
Well, once he feels like he's got enough information from just the general, the ones he's willing to probe the minds of, he'll just make his way back out of the barrier, sort of into the crowd, and make it look like he is once again sort of canvassing before slipping the badge off and and then sort of walking off into the main plaza, I suppose. A very noticeable individual. So from the air, you'd see a flock of purple hair just sort of making his way away.
Okay. As you part, have you still got your mind thing going? Are you still reading people's thoughts as you're walking around?
It would have. If I don't feel like there's anything left to listen to, it would have just faded out naturally as he's sort of leaving. So once
Okay.
everyone's
So as you're stepping down the stairs, you do pass one of the few Crown Service agents who are standing there. And they're saying, and he's thinking, that doesn't make sense. No animal tracks, but those are definitely teeth marks.
okay. That's all I get before it fades out.
Yeah, he's on the edge of your range, and you stop for a minute, but then the thought fades, and he moves on to sort of other things like, thinking he spots someone in the crowd and wondering if they're suspicious, stuff like that.
Sorry, just say that again so I can write it down. No animal tracks, but definitely animal wounds.
Yeah, there were no animal tracks, but they were definitely teeth marks.
Yeah.
I've never
Okay.
seen anything like it.
Taking that on board and sort of not wanting to double back on himself and sort of cause suspicion in any way, he'll take that as it is and just keep walking, assuming at some point Lumiel will make her way towards him as he undoes the badge and then clips it back into his ear to sort of...
Yeah, you quite clearly see Artemis stepping out from this cordon and passes you.
I'm going to catch up with him. Yeah.
Cool. We are going to go quickly over to Marcus. Marcus, you are making your way to the Argent Tower, which is the Argent Star HQ in... Wait, hang on. I'll tell you where it is in a minute. But you're making your way to the Argent Tower. What are you doing? How are you approaching this situation?
Knowing what kind of reception I got last time, I won't be stepping in. I will be walking around outside to see if I can catch someone that I am vaguely familiar with. Maybe someone who doesn't really know that much about what happened.
Okay. You begin to sort of loiter around. There are a couple of side doors to the Argent Tower and stuff like that. So you begin to sort of make your way through some of those. You do not spot anyone you are particularly familiar with, but there's a couple of people who are like on squads from other boroughs, because the Argent Star, much like the Castiliers and much like the Cops, there are sort of district regions, district offices which serve that. So you see a Argent Star agent who you worked with on a case a year or so ago, who is from the Grand Market jurisdiction. And he sort of walks out. He doesn't recognize you at first. He just goes to walk straight past you.
I'll make sure to clip on my badge.
Okay.
Fuck. Sorry. I need to get into. Huh?
Make a history check. See if you can remember his name.
28.
28. Okay. His name is Dernan, Detective Dernan.
Sorry, Detective Dernan. Just a moment of your time. I don't know if you remember. It was a while ago now.
You're Soulborn, right?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. How you been? I've not seen you around the tower for a while.
I've been. I can't tell you what it is, but we've been doing some canvassing. This whole mess coming back to today with the whole obscuratorium.
Oh, you're on that case, are you? I didn't realize you'd been transferred to the plaza.
No, I'm not supposed to be. I just came back today, but they apparently seem to be needing everything that they have, and I don't remember the name, but someone told me that they needed some evidence from here.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, good to see you.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't have my keys with me.
You don't have your pass.
No. I literally just left home and they went to the plaza and they wanted me to come back here, which is a fucking trek.
Right,
do you mind?
What do you need?
They said something about the latest notes that they have put here. I have no idea what that is, but it's apparently something that they need.
All right. Well, I can go and ask if you want, but I've got to get down to Old King's Road. Apparently, there was a murder there this morning.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Who's on it? You and
me and Fine.
Oh, okay. Is Fine still? Is it still good?
Yeah. What do you mean?
I'm not supposed to say, but I heard there's some money trouble apparently.
Oh. Well, he has been picking up a few extra shifts, but I just thought he was. Well, thanks for letting me know.
Yeah. Apparently he's a little bit sensitive about it, so don't mention it. But if anything, if he seems a little bit scraggly, that's the reason why. But best not to press on it.
Good to know. Well, I need to get down to Old King's Road as soon as I can to.
Yeah.
This old man got killed by some gnome running through the streets or something. So
gnome running through the streets. Okay.
Yeah, just stabbed him in cold blood, as it's told. But I'm just on my way down there to interview his grandson, only witness to the crime. How tragic,
God,
eh?
Really? Fuck me.
Yeah.
Well,
horrible business. Never gets easier, this job, eh?
No, it really fucking doesn't. Well, if you need any help at any point, we should be clearing off the side.
All right. Well, let me see if I can find out at the front desk what these files on the obscuratorium you're looking for are.
Yeah.
He turns around and goes back in. You're left waiting there for a little while.
Yeah, just hang back, make sure that I'm not watching the doors to make sure that I'm not being spotted by anyone I particularly know or who knows me.
Thankfully, in the period that you are waiting, you do not see any familiar faces. There are a few Argent Star agents coming in and out. It's quite heavy traffic, this sort of side door. He comes back out. Soulborn.
Yeah.
It's not. They said they had nothing for you.
You fucking kidding me? They sent me here to pick up nothing.
Well, nothing that you're on the case files of, as far as they say. I asked them, I said, he's come all the way up here and he's looking for these files. Apparently they've sent it me and they said, Soulborn ain't on the case. Well, I think they got your name wrong. They said Soulborn, but I tried to correct them. but they said neither were on the case. I had a chat with your governor. He might have not sent it to the wrong office or something like that.
Alright.
Honestly, sometimes I think these interdepartmental communications need modernisation.
They really do. They honestly do.
Honestly, how are we supposed to solve anything when no one's talking to each other properly? It's fucking
right.
ridiculous.
And it's between the boroughs as well. There's literally no communication.
Exactly. You know, I've been working the old King Road for fucking 2 years. Barely ever speak to anyone from Highcrest. Even though our cases sometimes... Anyway, look, I've got to get to this murder scene. I'm already late.
Yeah, all right. Well, see you around, bud.
See you around. Oh, and if you hear anything about a dodgy gnome running around, get in touch.
Yeah, will do.
Cool. He wanders off into the streets.
Oh, fuck, that's a bust. Okay. What's next? I'll just check in. So is this thing on? Anybody?
You are able to hear this communication, so long as you have your tail in.
Okay, am I doing this right?
Hello?
No. You
Oh
are.
shit! Okay,
Sorry, it's just me.
that is so weird.
You get used to it. I do it all the time. It's not that bad.
Is it always supposed to tingle like at the in
The
your
base
spine?
here, the base of your brain. Yeah, right
Yeah.
there, where the spine meets the. Yeah, it's a
It's
real
weird
brain.
because you say right there, and I know exactly where you're pointing. This is fucking awful. Okay. Anyway, quick update. I tried to get any files from the Argent Star. There's nothing that I can get access to without actually going in, and that's going to cause a hell of a lot more problems than we need right now.
Well, I did a little bit of mind scanning on all the people around the crime scene. Apparently, we're looking for, or at least the idea of Air Genasi gnome, a dwarf, and a human were what most people saw leaving the crime scene. 2 humans, sorry. There was 2 of them. They couldn't be sure they looked so similar.
Did you say no?
We'll find out why later. You actually are reading minds now. Carry on.
Did you say gnome?
Yeah, gnome, dwarf, Air Genasi, humans. Fleeing the scene. Someone got arched from a very great distance from one of the buildings around. A lamplighter was hit. I'm just going to assume me and Lumiel have talked at this point and sort of traded information. I'm just going to sort of skip to that. And we got a name of the East Street Vipers. It sounds like an Amdram play or something. But that's what we got heard. And I also got something else. Apparently there was no animal tracks, but teeth marks were definitely seen on the people who were killed.
There was one guy who was torn in half.
So that's something to take into consideration.
DM. I have something called Hunter's Bane
Okay.
as a blood hunter. When it comes to recalling things of occult nature, does teeth marks and someone being ripped in half sound anything familiar to me in terms of crimes?
I'm not going to have you make a roll for this. Teeth marks and things like that can sometimes be attributed to vampires and things of that nature. Very rarely do vampires rip their victims to pieces or rip them in half. So that doesn't signal anything really to you. You're not getting many occult vibes from this, no.
No. Okay. Well,
Gruesome, but not ritual or demonic in any way.
Yeah. Okay, that's weird as fuck. Going back to Gnome, I just talked to a former colleague. Don't know him very well, but he talked about a gnome. He's going to visit crime scene now. Apparently, a gnome stuck a person, murdered him in cold blood. He's going to talk to the grandson.
Where?
Where was that?
This is my short-term memory, DM. Where was it?
It was described to you as in the Old King's Road. You are aware of the layout of the city of Valvaris. You know that between Cobblebank and the Crystal Plaza is the Old King's Road.
Old King's Road, yeah. Apparently with the Old King's Road, this sounds fairly similar towards the direction that they would run to, knowing where the safe house is.
That makes sense.
Okay.
I'm not I can't talk to people. But I can give it a try if we want to question the grandson.
Arthur,
I
Jax,
wouldn't.
are you in this as well? Can you hear us? Is this a 5-way deal? I want to know who's here. Sorry.
If you've got your pip in, then you can hear.
Nope. Arthur Arthur will have taken it out on purpose because of where he
Glad you
is.
joined the call. Sorry, I didn't want to disturb you.
No. I was listening, just looking for something. Any information on the size and scale of the breach would be useful to get an indication of the quantity and type of explosives used, if that is able to be gathered.
Well, that's inside, and very little information seems to be getting out of the building through the perimeter, guard. If we'd have to go in there and search the building itself and see what we could get to get that kind of information, I don't think they've even got an exit yet. So I don't know.
I have a drink date for later with my friend, and she might know. I didn't actually ask. I should have asked. I'm sorry.
That's all right, just let me know if you find out.
Yeah.
Jax. You are presumably have gone to retrieve something. Is that correct?
I have gone to the Grand Market.
Okay, so
Sorry, just Grand Market.
you have headed home
Yes.
to the Grand Market to retrieve a piece of equipment. Would you please describe to us the ambience and the setting of your home in the Grand Market, please?
Yeah, so kind of settled into an old industrial warehouse estate. You see a creaky black fire escape that leads up 3 stories, and Jax kind of heads up those before opening a very freshly painted door, as though this is a new residence just opened type thing. Opens it, and kind of quite high built buildings all around. There's not really a skyline other than being on the rooftops of these industry units, and inside is a little converted loft space with a mezzanine bed area, and the rest has got makeshift workbenches, some old couches, very much kind of student just thrown things in there, just to populate the area. But then there's also a load of little random bits of metal, machinery, tools, some blueprints on the walls and stuff like that. But in the middle there's just this clear area for a sofa and a table and a few books piled high. And under the stairway up to the kind of mezzanine floor, there's a little kind of cupboard. And Jax goes to the cupboard and opens it, and there's just this muskiness that has clung to what is stored in here, that you can't escape. They've not even been in this particular storage room for that long, but there's just this muskiness that clings to it, and this smell of, and the grit of sand whenever he touches anything.
As you pop the lock off this chest, you're kind of shocked a little bit as you hear a from outside your window, and then a crowd of people go, "Ray!" Seems like the evening is kicking off in the Grand Market, which is not only in the main bazaar, but the wider Grand Market is very much a nightlife spot of Valvaris. So the evening's frivolities are kicking off outside, and you hear a bit of commotion outside, but you're very used to that.
Yeah.
You're very used to the sound of congregation and partying from this loft that you occupy.
Yeah. So kind of getting this trunk out from the little cupboard and kind of pushing it on the floor. It's like this long, quite a big, rusty old trunk with a load of like luggage stamps on it. And he opens it and kind of tosses out like a large backpack, empty water skins, a ghillie suit, an old helmet, harness, and then like amidst the ghillie suit, something kind of crosses to the ground, and he kind of picks it up for a second, and it is one half of a sending stone, which he then kind of like grips in his hand before putting back in to like the ghillie suit, before taking out a sleek, long, kind of rectangular brown leather case, which he pops open, and inside there is a hunting rifle, but it's kind of been modified with a scope for kind of desert traversal, and it's just kind of kitted out a little bit more advanced than the flintlock pistol he frequently wears in his holster. It just kind of looks yeah.
It's kind of like a little like hydraulic cylinder on the side of it as well, and like an extra magazine like clipped onto the side, very sort of boshed together and tactical, almost like you've been working on this thing. Yeah, so you find what you came for. You find your secondary weapon.
Yeah, and I think kind of just looking around, particularly looking at like
one of your cats comes over and arches and rubs up against your leg.
Hey Ava, how you doing? I'll feed you. Oz!
This much more sort of ploddy, kind of much more round with big pods, kind of pops down from the mezzanine. Clearly had been sleeping on your bed. Kind of got this.
Come on, you two.
And they follow you, going in between your legs in sort of a helix motion, almost hopping over each other like, as well as you
kind of deftly maneuvering around them, like anticipating their gaits as they walk and follow you. I am on it. 2 seconds. Wait. Ava, get down. You're not allowed on the counters. I will feed them, and then I think just to kind of wrap my bit up, I'm mainly looking. What would I know about kind of suppliers or issuers of gunpowder in the area?
So you know of a couple of places. There are, professional, firework makers in the Grand Market who often have plenty of supply. You've cut a couple of deals with them on the side before so that you can go practice shooting off the record. But they're fairly stand-up people, like you wouldn't think of them to be, dodgy at all. It's more of a favor because you're local and, it's only a few doors down from your apartment. There is also mining companies that have offices in the Grand Market area. Dynamite and explosives is often used in mining. You know that there are also a few other companies that do similar such things in the Rat Downs, because there is an ongoing sort of extraction and mining operation further deep down in the Rat Downs. But yeah, that's sort of the only thing. There are some commercial uses, but locally you can think probably most likely the fireworks sellers would be the best place to go to either ask about that kind of thing or to buy it.
Yeah, I think in that case that's where he's going to head, just to have a chat with the firework makers.
Cool. So you head out from your apartment, your cats chase after you as you leave the door.
I kind of pick up a scrunched piece of parchment and I just throw it across the room and then dart out.
Eva chases after it. Your other cat just looks and then looks back at you.
I'll be back soon, Oz. Give him a little scritch and then leave.
Okay, cool. You head off into the failing day, the failing light of the afternoon, the early evening. We now come to a room, wood-panelled, a few houseplants, many books on bookshelves. Sitting upon quite a large sort of one of those egg-shaped chairs is an older, turtle man with glasses kind of perched at the end of his beak-like nose or beak-like face, just resting on the eyes. A cigarette is in one hand as a notepad is being scratched on his lap. Laying on a sofa adjacent to this individual is Arturius. And how did that make you feel?
Well, Doc, I don't know if I feel much of anything.
Can't hear you, Dan.
Sorry?
Still
Better?
can't hear you, Dan. Are you muted?
I can hear him.
Oh, you can hear him?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Oh, I muted him because he was smoking. Carry on.
Cool. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was my fault. Sorry, everyone.
Well, I don't really feel much of anything anymore. I guess that's kind of the point, right?
Well, it is certainly important to recognize these things, so it's a step in the right direction.
Look, you've been saying that for the last 6 weeks, and I still don't have a fucking clue what direction that is, Doc.
Well, to climb a mountain such as yours requires many, many steps, each as important as the last. You should be proud of yourself for the progress you've made. And what of your home life? Has anything improved there?
I'd like to say yeah, but no, of course not.
I'm
How
sorry,
can it?
we've run out of time. If you'd like to schedule another session shortly, I'm free, available in 4 days, if you'd
Yeah.
like to book me.
Yeah, I think that's wise, Doc. Why do I always get the feeling that I leave this place in a worse place than when I came?
Sometimes to take a step forward, we must first take a step back. That is how we explore the origins of these issues.
But I
we
told
must
you-
confront them.
I told you I don't want
Our
to
time is unfortunately over, Artorius.
And you see he kind of like swings his legs off the chair and stands up, grips the great sword, doesn't kind of fasten it to his belt again yet, but just kind of grips it and just goes, yeah, I'll see myself out then.
Try
Fucking-
some of the breathing exercises we spoke about.
Fuck you. And just like pushes the door as it kind of like swings and slams back, and he just kind of stands on the other side of the door, just... Okay. Nope, didn't fucking work. And begins to walk down the corridor and out of the house. Kind of takes out a pack of cigarettes, pulls one out, rolls it in his hand a little bit, puts it to his mouth, puts the cigarette back in the pouch, in the packet back in his pocket, goes into his next pocket, begins to walk through the city and pulls out a ring and puts his ring on his hand and heads home.
Along your walk back home, a light drizzle begins to fall on the city of Valvaris. A common occurrence at this time of year. While it may seem drab, there is some beauty in the glistening cobble streets. People around don't seem to mind the rain. They carry on with their evening's pursuits as they would. But you, head slightly hanging, just listening to the steps of your own feet on the wet cobbles and the slight drizzle of the rain. It's kind of soothing and calming, but I think what you have to face right now is giving you some anxiety, so it's hard to tune into that kind of relaxing sound. You eventually arrive at the gate of your modest home, more modest than you've been used to in years past.
Open the gate, shut the gate, walk towards the front door. As I reach my hand out to the handle, just kind of pause. Okay. Open the door and walk in.
You walk into a quiet house. None of the candelabras are illuminated. There is no music playing or anything like that. It's a quiet house. You step further in and you notice upon the kitchen counter is what looks like some kind of meat, veg, and potatoes, though there is no steam rising from it.
Mm-hmm.
And as you step a few steps further in and look into the lounge, you see sitting upon the sofa the back of the head of a woman, blonde hair, tied up in a bun, and a smoking cigarette in one hand.
Can I try and get a sense from the aroma in the air if there has been any copious amounts of alcohol drank this evening?
Make a perception check.
That is going to be a 9.
A 9. As you walk in, there's no smell of cooking in the air. Whatever cooking must have been done some time ago. As you walk through the kitchen, you do pick up a faint scent of, a bottle of red wine that has been emptied and sat to become stale on the counter. You would gauge that was probably drunk fairly early on in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Busy night, Arthur?
Yes, dear. Always busy. Told you there's a lot of overtime at the moment, and we need the fucking money.
Yes, we do. And whose fault is that?
Look, I've had a long day. I don't want to walk in to blame or finger pointing, but if you're that concerned about our financial well-being, dear, you can go out and earn us some money yourself if you like.
How dare you, Arthur? How dare you? Now is not the time. If you don't want to come
you've obviously
into...
sat up this long to say something, so just fucking say it.
You took me from Lucis, Arthur, on this wild expedition, this new life you wanted to gain for us, and look at it.
Yeah, look
We
at
have no
it.
servants.
Nope, we have no servants.
The bath barely runs. There's only one of them.
Yep, there's only one bath, dear. We couldn't stretch for a second. I
share with you.
I am sorry that this is not the life that you're accustomed to, my love, but it's the best I can do.
It was the life that you promised me, Arthur.
Well, look, we haven't got Daddy's pay packet coming in anymore, have we, dear? I have to do all this on my own.
You're not the only one who's alone. And she storms off into the bedroom and slams the door. You hear the slide of a wine glass off the table as she walks into the bedroom.
I immediately walk through the living room, pick up whatever empty bottles, tidy whatever I can tidy, go and sit at the kitchen table, pick at the cold food, kind of shove it off to one side, and then go and lie on the sofa and just... At this point, there is a battle. The hardest battle that I think Arthur's had in a long, long time. The battle between what he wants and what he has to do.
We zoom out from this scene to this modest, not hut, but I'd say cottage. We see Jax stepping out, wandering down the fire escape and onto the bustling seats of the Grand Market. Drunken louts already in each other's arms, walking along to the next tavern that they're going to. And Jack turns to the right and makes his way off to his destination. Marcus walks away from the Argent Tower, writing things in his notebook, closes it, pops it in his top pocket, with a steely determination, begins heading south. Lumiel and Artemis step away from the Nullifector's HQ onto their next destination. And as they do, there is a cracking in the air. Artemis, this makes your spine shiver. Lumiel, you know what this is, but it's something best not acknowledged. As the Mistress of Seals briefly appears floating around the Nethel Shard, this giant, statuesque, pearlescent woman with a large crest behind her, still, arms outward to the side, palms facing upwards. She floats in orbit for a few seconds around the Nethel Shard before disappearing once again. And Artemis, the shiver in your spine recedes. Night is falling on Valvaris, but the investigation has just begun. And we'll pick it up next time.
Hell yeah.
That was so good that you timed that almost perfectly to the music as well. That was great. That was great. Really good.
Brilliant.
So, your first case is underway. The heist on the Obscuratorium. Will they be able to solve this mystery? Some pretty decent clues have been picked up already. Some identities of all or some of the culprits. We don't know yet. This strange business with a murder on the Old King's Road, potentially matching the description of one of the assailants, and some other threads to tug at. We'll pick that up next time. Thank you guys for indulging in this noir detective experience and giving it your all. You've really stuck with the theme, and I'm loving it. I'm fucking loving it. This is great fun for me. I hope it's great fun for you guys, and I hope it's great fun for you guys at home.
Yeah. Loving it.
Definitely.
Loving it. I have 9 pages of notes.
Oh, cool. Nice.
From this session.
Yeah, there's been a lot of information, but the case is still unraveling. So please join us next time when we find out a little bit more about what happened at the Obscuratorium. Thanks, guys. Join us next week. Peace out.
Take care. Bye.
Yeah.